But they're coming on to a clean green field with more on that. Here's Lewis Johnson. Lewis.
Yeah, Ron, amazing to see how clear it is right now, because when you and I were here for Thursday practice, it was a completely different scene. I remember seeing all the snow piled up on the sidelines, and Paul Wolf had his players out here trying to get them in the moment for this game today. Look at that in the end zone. There's the offensive line in unity, in shorts, everybody just making their way. And then on Friday, what an amazing job that everyone did between the tractors and the pickup trucks sort of in concert there. Up in the stands, folks out with shovels trying to make sure that they could get everything ready for this Apple Cup. But an amazing scene, and even though the temperatures are going to fall throughout the afternoon, the spirits remain high down here for the 103rd Apple Cup. Ron?
All right, thanks very much, Listen. These are some brave souls. About 26 degrees right now. We'll have the starting lineups opening kick coming up next on Versus. The teams meeting at the middle of the field, and this game means a lot. We've been here about 3 days now, my friends, and talking to the players and coaches. We understand this rivalry and what it means more than just a football game. And I think Dan Lynch, former Washington State guard back in the 80s, said it best. He said there are 4 important stages in your life. You're born, you play the Huskies, you get married, and you die.
That's an offensive lineman. That's what
I love it. And obviously the Husky fans are all bundled up. We take a look at Paul Wolf. He's been under some fire here in the Pullman area, but I tell you what, he has done an outstanding job of getting this program back on track. He's in his 3rd year, 43 years old. And I'll tell you, he's the first Washington State football letter winner and graduate to lead the Cougars. And on the other side of the field, Steve Sarkisian took over a team, and last year took them to a 5-7 record, a team that went winless in 2008. And he's done a great job recruiting, and his team has had to face a number of injuries this year. He's a former quarterback at BYU, but has been able to overcome them all. And, of course, he was a longtime coach at USC, coached 2 Heisman Trophy winners. And obviously in reference to Washington State quarterback Jeff Toole, the young sophomore who's had an outstanding 2nd year. Washington won the toss. They have deferred. Washington State will receive. You can see the passion already on the fans' face.
This is that emotional point we talk about, Ron, where this first drive, this first hit, you can't be so emotional you make a mistake and or get sick to your stomach because you're out of your mind.
Eric Folk is set to kick it away for Washington. And it's a high end-over-end kick. From the 2. Up to the 17-yard line is Isaiah Barton. Washington State offense, they're going to be led by quarterback Jeff Toole, a sophomore out of Fresno, California. He has a good arm. We saw his mobility in the Arizona game we did a few weeks ago, and he's coming off his most efficient game in the win over Oregon State, where he had a couple of long runs, and he wasn't afraid to take a hit.
No, and you know, the thing with him is there's quarterbacks that naturally take off running, and Toole will look to run only to keep his eyes downfield, then throw. He knows he's not a runner.
And they go to the right side. They got a big hole up over the 25-yard line to the 27-yard line is James Montgomery. Let's take a look at the rest of the Washington State lineup on the line. Zach Williams at center, Micah Hannum at right tackle, the only seniors.
You take a look at the 2nd-level freshman, Marquise Wilson. Now this kid is something special.
And he's only a true freshman, as you mentioned. That was good enough for a first down after the pickup of 12. You'll see a number of formations since the USC game. Washington State has opened up their offense. Just a little swing pass to Montgomery. Looks for some running room. He gets up to the 35-yard line. That'll be a pickup of about 6. Washington State defense, they've gone back to the fundamentals. True freshman Oli Jamora in defensive end, solid first year, 41 total tackles and a sack and a half.
Outside linebacker Mason Foster, maybe the most underrated linebacker in the country.
And the quarterbacks, Trufant Richardson, they've kicked it up a notch the last few weeks. One of the reasons this Washington defense has improved. On 2nd and 4, Toole sees some pressure. Just a little dump pass to Carstetter. Pass was incomplete.
A great route by Carstetter. It's zone read, play action. Carstetter runs a stop route, comes right back. He's open, but the ball just gets away from Toole. Maybe a little nerves to start. Toole, guy in his face, doesn't want to make a mistake. Gets that ball flying on him just a little bit.
Once again, they have not played since November 13th in that exciting win over Oregon State. Coaches were not concerned about any kind of rust on this offense. This is third down and about 3. Toole's got some time, steps up in the pocket. Here's where he's dangerous. Leans forward to the 40. He's got the first down. Nate Williams put the hit on him, but he picked up the yardage.
And a guy who Toole's normally looking to get that ball down the field. But watch him here. He realizes right away where the sticks are, puts his helmet down, and gets to that line. Smart play by Toole.
After that Oregon State game, he was the Pac-10 Player of the Week. 10 of 15, 157 yards throwing the football. He also rushed for 79 yards on 18 carries. 3 wide receivers to the right on 1st and 10. Toole with a little option to Blackledge. He is going to be corralled for a loss of 3 on the play by Quentin Richardson, the junior out of Renton, Washington. Talking to the defensive coaches for Washington, they said, listen, our defense has improved. It's because of guys like Richardson and Trufant.
Yeah, and what they did is Washington Huskies lined up. They showed cover 2, then rotated out to cover 1, and that brought that safety into the box. Very nice job. That allowed the corner then to show right on the end of line scrimmage and stop that play.
Loss of 3 on the play. On 2nd and 13. A lot of time. Toole's pass tipped. We have a penalty flag, incomplete. The flag was thrown at about the 43-yard line, intended for Marquise Wilson. Nate Fellner's the one who got the hand on it. And it's going to be against Washington State.
Chop block, offense number 21. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
Yeah, what happens there is you've got a lineman engaged. Your running back comes flying up and cuts, not understanding that the lineman's already engaged. It gets a 15-yard penalty.
Boy, Marquise Wilson, the freshman we were talking about, spent some time with him yesterday. You hate to see him limp off out of Tulare, California.
He's a bright light as a young kid. He lit up that room. Sitting around with him, just smiling. You can tell just something about him. He's a special type of player.
And he is going to be a name you may want to just circle and remember, because he's going to be a star here at Washington State. Well, 3rd down, they're going to call it 13. Penalty was declined.
Smart move by Washington.
Yeah.
Make Jeff Toole beat you on a 3rd and long.
Ball sitting at about the 37-yard line. They're showing blitz, but they've kept it simple the last couple of weeks, Washington has. 3 down, 1 up on the defensive line. They bring 4. But we have a penalty flag and a whistle. And that's going to be a personal foul penalty against Washington. So it'll probably offset everything.
Well, the whistle's definitely blown, and it would look like a pretty good acting job.
Fouls on both teams. False start on the offense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. Both of those penalties will be enforced in the order they occurred. First the 5-yard penalty, then the 15 with an automatic first down.
Well, Jack Wood, our official, and Washington coaches don't like it, trying to get the officials' attention.
Please reset the game clock to 12:52.
You see around your outside there coming in, and it's Haoli Jamora, and it looked like a pretty good job acting by Toole. Everybody's stopping. You can see I don't know if he had to fall down there, but great job of being aware of the situation, understanding what's happening, and taking his dive. A little bit of an Italian soccer player right there.
There you go. And Jamora did go and help him up, though, immediately. So good sportsmanship there. First down and 10. Toole keeps it. Not going to see a whole lot of running room. He gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, probably a half a yard at best.
And of course, Jamora has to be smart of that. I know there's fire. You're excited. You're emotional. You're coming around that edge. You know it blows. You hear that whistle. You didn't have to do any more.
Well, the first time since 2002, both teams come into this game having won their previous game. We look at Jamora, high school judo champion.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. And we've got a player down on the field now. And it looks like Iowa. I didn't even see him. All of a sudden, I just saw him drop to the ground. And we will take a break. 12:21 to play in the opening quarter. We're at the Apple Cup in Pullman, Washington. We're scoreless. Now you drive down from Spokane, and this is one of the sights you see. You see the horses saying, "Oh, please, please, get me someplace warmer." As they had a lot of snow fall this week, but no snow in the last 24 hours. It's just cold, as Lewis Johnson told us earlier. Second down and 9. And the running continues to be skidding there up over the 50-yard line, down to about the 46-yard line. To Amu on the stop.
Well, Montgomery, a good job of understanding where the hole is, and a good job of the offensive lineman staying on blocks. You get more than 4 or 5 yards on any run, that shows you that you've got color on color, and you're running your feet.
Well, third down and a little over 2, closer to 3, and they'll go from the shotgun again. Blackledge goes in motion to the left side. Toole hands it straight up the middle. They'll be short of the first down by about a yard. Matt Houston, the senior out of Galena, California, coming up to make the first hit.
And Matt Houston in for Vicky Aiello on that play, and he read very fast what was going on. Was not afraid that Toole would keep that ball and hit that hole right where it's supposed to be. Really good run fit by him.
Now, Paul Wolf's not going to take a gamble. He is going to kick it away. Kind of surprising a little bit. Kicking into the wind. And Cody Bruns is standing back at his 5-yard line to receive this kick. And we've got another whistle.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
I don't think that was by design.
I don't think so, no. But as it is now, a 40-yarder puts them inside the 10. It gives you a little room to work, and you can win the field position battle.
Well, Reed Forrest will try it again. He's turning out to be the most decorated punter in Washington State history. He's having a career year, averaging better than 45 yards a kick. Those are pretty good numbers. Good snap. Nice high, wobbly kick. Bruns is going to let it hit. Can they get to it? Wait for the official signal. Yes, they down it at about the 1-yard line. Great job by the special teams and an outstanding kick by Reed Forrest. Everybody who plays in this game knows how special it is, especially number 10 for the Huskies.
One of those rivalries that makes college football what it is. It's been there for years and years, and it'll continue to be there for years and years. And it's, we'll go over there. I imagine it'll probably be snowing. It'll be cold, and they'll love it. They'll be all excited about it. I think that's what makes this game so special.
Well, it is cold, and Locker's just going to keep it on the ground. Straight ahead running. Up the middle is Chris Polk, who needs only 46 yards tonight to break that 1,000-yard barrier again, second year in a row.
See him coming right here. This is just an idea of knowing you have to get out of that end zone. And Polk, a really nice job being a little bit patient once he gets past the line of scrimmage and finding the extra 3, 4, 5 yards.
Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, says he runs heavy. A little misdirection play. Washington State had him wrapped up and lost them up to the 13-yard line. It'll be a loss of about 2 on the play. Let's take a look at this Washington's offensive line. It's been in constant flux. Senio Clemente had an injured foot. They weren't sure if he was going to play tonight, but he's going to give it a try.
Well, with this offensive line, you have to remember Chris Polk right there is the guy. North-south runner, grind out tough yards.
Third down and 13. Check that second down at 13. Locker looks, just dumps off the little pass through the back. Collier gets close to the first down. They'll be about 2 yards short. And the Washington State defense has really improved the last couple of games. Travis Long, he leads the defensive lineman in tackles and sacks, a blue-collar kind of player.
Middle linebacker C.J. Mazzell, you take a look, watch his scrapes, watch his fits. He's in on a lot of plays.
Yeah, true freshman Dayon Buchanan from Fairfield, California. He's been a pleasant surprise for the coaches. He leads the team in tackles this year. C.J. Mazzell was suspended for the Arizona game, and he's really come on since then. Now his squad faces 3rd down and 2. No penalty flags. Another run right up the middle. 20, 15, 10. Oh, what a run by Locker. We do have a penalty. There was a lot of motion on the line.
Holding offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
You had double A-gap blitz by the defense. That's why it broke wide open. But because of the double A-gap blitz, the center on an island had to grab. Take a look right in the middle of your field. He's got both hands grabbing jersey because there's too many guys for the rest of the offensive line to clean up. So he was all alone on that nose. Grab jersey. The officials see it.
So instead of 6 for Locker, they bring the ball back inside the 15-yard line down to the 13-yard line. 3rd down and 12.
That's an emotional swing for a team right there.
Locker was probably feeling pretty good about himself. Now he empties the backfield, sends 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They rush 4. Locker, quick pass inside. It'll be good enough for a 1st down to Aguilar. Tyree Toomer on the coverage. Devin Aguilar, his 28th reception of the year. That was great timing. Now you got to remember that Jake Locker's playing with the Muskie Bridge. Every time he throws the ball, it can't be comfortable.
You know, he's probably in a lot of pain, and I give him credit. Washington State trying to hide coverage. Looked like they were in cover 2 man. Suddenly swung it in and went cover 1 man and brought that strong safety up, allowing that slant to come wide open.
Pick up a 14 on the play. Polk got the edge. Up over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Let's check with Kevin Frazier. A little SEC update. Kevin.
Time for this Foster's game break run. And how about this? Cam Newton in control. He becomes the 2nd player in NCAA history with 20 passing and 20 rushing TDs. And his mama says, NCAA, leave my baby alone.
I don't think we've heard the end of that story, but obviously they're rolling over South Carolina right now. They want their place in the national title game. 2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard pickup by Polk. Polk again. The run game is being dominated right now by Washington as he gets up to the 45-yard line. How important is it? And Washington told us, even at the Stanford game, they think their advantage is always on the edge. But then when you get that, it opens up everything else.
That's right. If you can get to the edge, what's that do? That causes your coverages to change and brings your safeties out of the box a little. Then you run north-south at him with a guy like Polk who's big and strong. I'll tell you on that last play, Drew Schaefer got the holding on the earlier call. Huge block to spring for a couple extra there.
Another 1st down, 7.5 left in the opening quarter of play. Locker's pass. Caught inside the 45 to the 44. Jermaine Kearse, 57 receptions on the night. Now, you got to remember, too, if you're Washington, these are the line changes they've had. The yellow are the changes they've made since the beginning of the season. Look at all the guys that they've had to change. 15 different players have gone in and out of the lineup since the beginning of the season. No continuity.
That's the thing. No continuity. And for young guys where communication is key, that really hurts them.
Impressive march so far by the Huskies. Polk this time stood up, keeps the feet moving, and he gets inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 3. Wolfgram on the stop.
Wolfram, good job of coming off the block and making the tackle. But Polk, you know, we talk about what Washington want to do, and that's perimeter and edge runs. It's a soft perimeter run, but with that much strength, go ahead and get hit for a 1-yard loss and turn it into a 2-yard gain. That's gigantic. That's a big, strong back.
Now they call him a heavy runner. They said he's the guy that delivers the blows. Now Callier is checked into the backfield. takes a hit at the line of scrimmage, leans forward down to the 37-yard line. Capital One Hockey Night on Versus, December 13th at 7:30. Enze Kopitar and the Kings target Jimmy Howard and the Wings. Then December 14th at 7 o'clock. Circle your calendar. Sidney Crosby and the Atlantic leading Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Monday and Tuesday nights, hockey lives on Versus.
Spoken like a true Pittsburgh Penguin native homer. Well done.
Finally, after all the games we've done, we get a Penguin promo. 10th play of the drive for the Huskies. And we've got a whistle and a timeout.
Washington, their first charge timeout.
5:53 left in the first quarter. Steve Sarkisian wants to talk about it. His team is on an impressive drive. That is downtown Pullman. It's not Gotham City or anything, but it's very cold and a lot of steam coming out of the buildings. Along with Glenn Parker, Lewis Johnson, Ron Thulin with you in the Apple Cup. 5:53 left in quarter number one, and we are scoreless. But Washington on the drive. One of the things Steve Sarkisian says he has preached to this team for 2 years is finish. They have done that the last 2 games, and I think that's a word that's appropriate for this drive. They need to finish it. Third down. 10th play of the drive, running game. Polk again. Look at the effort by Polk as he gets down to the 25-yard line.
Well, really, Ryan Toller, the left guard there, combo blocks with the center up to the backer, gets a body on him. If you can get Polk to the second level, he's going to run over. Watch Big 65 on that block right there. Because he gets hands on, there's no way for a backer to, with one arm, tackle Chris Polk at depth.
Pickup of 10 on the play. He needs 1 yard for 1,000 for this season. And Polk's going to get it right there. Down to the 20-yard line, inside the 20. And for the second year in a row, Chris Polk, who had 1,113 yards rushing last year, again breaks the 1,000-yard barrier.
Ryan Toller, Drew Schaefer, Colin Porter. That's your 2 guards and your center. Right now, they're winning the battle inside against the D tackles of Washington State. They are getting movement into the second level, and they're allowing Chris Polk to get to 4 yards out past the line of scrimmage before he's getting hit, and he's too big a back.
On second down and 4. Polk stood up at the line of scrimmage, and he is not going to get a whole lot.
And this time you take a look. Polk, this time, gets to the line of scrimmage where he's hit. He doesn't get to that second level. Very good job of run fit and linebackers scraping tight into the gap and putting themselves in a position to make a tackle at the line of scrimmage instead of waiting to make a tackle 4 yards deep.
Well, Washington State, back-to-back games, they've kept their opponents scoreless in the first quarter. Now Washington knocking with 4 minutes to play in the opening 15. Locker looks left, pass. Caught at the 17-yard line, reaching forward for the first down. Might be a little bit short is Jermaine Kearse.
When you take a look at Locker's eyes, that's going to get him in trouble against better defenders. He popped up, looked, and threw right where he was looking, allowing the DB, Air Justin, to get close, and then Alex Hoffman-Ellis to make that tackle. And now they're going to be just short of that first down.
It looked like when he stretched, he may have gotten it, but they didn't get it. And Washington's going to go for it. Play clock at 9. 5 to snap it. And Sarkisian's going to have to blow another timeout.
Timeout.
His second in the opening quarter.
Second charge timeout of the
3:15 left in the first. Washington on a drive.
In your career, you'll remember. Travis Long's going to remember this one. A chance to stop Jake Long on 4th down in the Apple Cup, and instead, big first down for Washington. Travis Long also had a missed tackle on a reverse down at the 2-yard line early in the game. A very active player doing his job, just not quite the finisher.
Locker throwing off his back foot, complete to Polk. He breaks tackles inside the 5 down to the 2-yard line. Tackling problems by the Washington defense.
problems that plagued them earlier in the year were tackling, and they're starting to resurface here. Credit Washington putting the ball in the hands of big backs out on the perimeter, let them get out there and run, and force the smaller guys for Washington State to wrap up.
Kafusi had a shot at him, couldn't wrap him up. Second down and goal from about the 1. Touchdown, Washington. Chris Polk took a couple of hits. The officials waited to make the signal, but the Huskies get on the board first.
Impressive drive, Ron. You start at your 2, you get a touchdown called back. You just keep pushing and pushing. You get a 4th down conversion.
And they're going to review it.
The play is under review.
Well, let's look at it from our angle.
Well, the linesman that called it had a great look, and they're going to try to see if his knee goes down. That looks like a... I don't think you can overturn that. That's a tough angle. You'd have to assume that the ball didn't get over the line. We'll take a look at it from this angle. Can't tell there. I'd say that's a touchdown. I don't think they can overturn that. I've been known to be wrong.
We haven't had that great track record this year, needless to say. But where was the ball when his behind hit the turf? Let's look from the other side.
Probably our most conclusive proof is right here, but you can't tell where the ball is.
Yeah, it's stuck
hidden
in his belly.
Yep. I'd say, as we get another look at it here, and maybe you can look through the legs. Hard to tell. I don't think so.
I'll tell you what. I won't be surprised if they say he's down.
I won't
be surprised.
And I won't be surprised if they say it's a touchdown.
Absolutely.
So what we're saying is we just won't be surprised.
Exactly. It doesn't take much to surprise us anyway. This is a Washington team, though, that came off that disastrous 3-game stretch. Arizona, Stanford, and Oregon. They were outscored 138-30.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, they couldn't confirm it, but they did let it stand. As Washington looking for their 3rd win in a row. 2 of those games have been on the road. And now Eric Folk with the extra point. He's perfect this year, 26 of 26. Little high snap. But the kick is good.
Impressed with that drive, Ron. That was attitude. That was shove it down your throat, push you down the field, and go for it on 4th down. No respect, we'll take it, let's go.
And, of course, the big play of the drive was Jake Locker on 4th down, broken ribs and all.
Yeah, breaks the tackle. Travis Long puts his nose down, gets forward, and gets that yard. Charismatic young man. Then you take a look at the Polk run for the touchdown. Just kind of pushes his way through. He had a heck of a drive, too.
You know, the coach is telling us earlier this week, Steve Sarkisian and everybody, that they wanted another, what they called meat and potatoes game.
You know, early in the year they said, we don't have one of those wins. They believe they got that at Cal, and they believe that's who they are. It's one thing to be a little flashy, it's another to grind it out, meat and potato style. That's what they did on that drive.
6 plays of plus 10 yards on that drive. But we saw Long with a chance to wrap up. Locker wasn't able to do it.
I like meat and potatoes. I'm all right with it.
I'm all right with that too, by golly. Eric Folk will kick it away. How will the Cougs respond? Isaiah Barton from a yard deep. Gets up over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Nate Fellner on the tackle. Let's take a look at our Toyota Quality Drive summary. And this is the last drive by the Huskies.
Chris Polk, big body out on the perimeter, putting his shoulder down, getting the extra yard. Those are the times you like in 4th and 1. Jake Locker, breaking that tackle of Travis Long, and back to Polk one more time. Get yourself a touchdown. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Great blocking by that offensive line of Washington on that drive. 2 minutes left in the quarter. Penalty flag is thrown as Montgomery is brought down at the 25-yard line by Everett Thompson.
Take it back. Take it back. Chop block offense, number 72. Penalty half the distance to the goal. remains first down.
The second time we've seen that call on Washington State to this point. The first time they called it on the back, this time they call it on the offensive lineman. What happens? You are involved in a block. You're occupying the defensive tackle, and the running back comes up and cuts him. It's not designed. You're trying to get off the block.
Right.
But they're going to call it. They don't care whether you plan to do it or not.
Well, that pushes the ball back down inside the 15-yard line down to the 11-yard line. First down and 22. Toole just swings a little pass to the left side. Up over the 20 to the 21-yard line is Marquise Wilson. We saw him shaking up a little bit on that opening possession, but he's back in the lineup now. That's good news for Cougar fans.
Well, I like the play call here. Get yourself a few. You got a long way to go. Just come back, 2nd and 11. Now you have to come back. You might run a traditional screen. You're going to run something or trying to just get 4 to 5 yards and put yourself manageable.
And Jeff Toole, he was given the keys to the offense at the beginning of the year. He showed great improvement throughout the season. Pressure put on him, but he makes the pass complete up to the 29-yard line to Isaiah Barton. Lewis.
Well, Ron, 22 years ago, back in February of 1985, Paul Wolf signed a letter of intent with Washington State, choosing to play for the Cougars over 5 other Pac-10 schools. He had offers from Arizona, Arizona State, Oregon State, and Cal. And he said at the time that he didn't understand the Apple Cup rivalry, but he did pick up on the passion and the excitement that the students and the Cougars fan had, and he believes it's much stronger than others, kind of sort of what we're seeing right here.
Absolutely. Now his team needs 3 for the first down. Low snap, Toole. Penalty flag is thrown. Scrambling, and he is just going to wisely take a seat back at the 25-yard line.
They're going to get number 72, B.J. Guerra, again for a chop block. He blocked down to cut with a man pulling, and he's very upset about this call right now.
Let's go back down to Lewis.
And the other thing that Paul Wolf tells his recruits, he says, look, if you've been around Cougar fans and Huskies fans, he says, look, Cougar fans are more passionate. He says, I've got proof. He says, when you walk into a local Safeway, where else can you see something like this? And a Cougar logo right in the middle of the produce section. That's got to prove that they're more passionate, at least according to Paul Wolf.
I don't know. We were driving back to the hotel last night, and Lewis slams on the brakes in an intersection. He goes, look at a Cougar logo in the intersection. Right? Am I right, Lewis?
Didn't expect to see that.
No,
sure did.
no. Well, now at 4th down, they're forced to kick it away. Bruns is going to let this one bounce. He better get away from it. Now he picks it up and drop back at the 30-yard line. 44 yards on the kick. Very little, if any, on the return. That's the end of quarter number 1. The Apple Cup in Pullman, Washington. And the Huskies head to quarter number 2, up by a touchdown. 26 degrees. Wind chill is 19, but there is no precipitation so far tonight. The series, as we mentioned, dates back to 1900. Teams in that game played to a 5-5 tie. And since 1962, they've been awarded the Apple Cup. So the Huskies with the football. Locker again tries to make something out of nothing. Able to pick up 2 on the broken play up to about the 32-yard line.
Washington State is not going to allow Jake Locker to beat him to the edge. But Jake Locker has done a great job of stopping and getting something out of nothing. That was a 2-yard gain, which should have been stopped for a loss.
But they have to be conscious. Don't you agree on how much he runs in this ball game because of the ribs?
I think so, but they also, at what point don't you sell out as a senior for a bowl game? You need to.
2nd down and 8 from the 32-yard line. They keep it on the ground. A little end around the left side up over the 35 to the 37-yard line. Jesse Collier on the carry. Here's Lewis.
Well, Ron, you guys are talking about Jake Locker. I caught him right before the final warm-ups, and he said, yeah, look, this is my final regular season collegiate game, but he's trying as best he can to treat it like another game, but he knows it's big. said he just wants to focus on what's right in front of him, this opportunity and this great atmosphere. And this is what college football is all about. He said he feels great physically, and I have to tell you something. From a few weeks ago when we saw Jake Locker, I saw a pop in his step, a confidence in his eye. I think we're seeing that type of play here in his last regular season game. Good
observation. Playing his final game as a Husky. To Callier. He is dropped right at the 35-yard line. He'll be about 3.5 yards short of the first down. Nolan Washington, one of the many freshmen playing for this Cougar team this year on the stop. And now Washington will be forced to kick it away. Kyle Rasp, who had to leave the Cal game with back spasms. He gets a high spiraling kick. There, Justin lets it hit. It'll go inside the 5. So we've had 2 punts, both down inside the 5-yard line. This one carried 63 yards. It's at 42-23, and he is standing by now with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Ron, a smile went across his face as you look back at that. What do you think about that highlight when you look back so many years ago?
Well, it's awesome. I know Bobo's really happy because CJ was trying to catch that thing and Bobo came up with it. But, yeah, that was an awesome memory. Great memory for the Cougs, and hopefully we can summon a little bit of that tonight. We need to put some points on the board.
How special is the Apple Cup to play in?
You know what? It's my favorite memory. It's my favorite game I ever played in. It's a great rivalry in the state of Washington. These two teams have a storied history, and the winner goes home pretty proud.
And Drew, I know you talked to the team yesterday. What were the words that you tried to impart to them about this experience today?
It's pretty simple. I told them that I played a lot of football, did a lot of things, but the one memory that stands out in my mind is this game when we played here in '92. I told them to make a special memory.
I'm just thankful we don't have all the snow like we did last in '92, right?
You know what? It bodes well for the Cougs, though, man. We need that snow to start flying around here. We always win when it snows.
Stop it,
all right,
Drew.
Thanks a lot.
Stop it, Drew. Don't talk that way. Don't talk that way. Mitch is in the backfield, and he has the football. Up to the 10-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and short.
I love the play call on 1st down. Let Jeff Toole make that throw. Get it to your best freshman wide receiver. Let him try to break a tackle. That showed a lot of confidence in a young quarterback in a big situation. And here you sit. You've gotten some yards now.
Yeah.
You've got a chance to convert.
Once again, this drive started at about the 1-yard line. It's 3rd down, and they need a yard. Mitz remains in the backfield. Harstetter wide to the right. Mitz puts his head down, and it's going to be close where the official is running in on the far side. He did not get it. Alameda to Amu coming up along with Court Dennison to make the stop.
It's zone read, and I'm wondering if Jeff Toole isn't upset that he didn't take that ball.
Yeah.
Because they're short.
Because he had it in his belly, and everybody was buying that.
Yeah, and when you zone read, the last line of defense was Mason Foster, but they had a tight end to block him. So they're going to punt, and they're going to give a very short field to the Washington Huskies.
Only 52 total yards for this Cougar offense so far in this game. And Reed Force is about 3 yards in to kick it. Does a little rugby style. Callier waits. Couple of bounces. Picks it up at the 38-yard line and goes right down. 51 yards on the kick. 10:50 left in the opening half. The Huskies with the lead and the football.
As always, I'll be joined by Roland Williams and Jeremy Bloom. We'll get you up to speed on all of today's big matchups, including Cam Newton's incredible performance in the SEC championship game, and we'll break down what that means for tomorrow's BCS Bowl selection. Great stuff coming up, Ron.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Looking forward to that as Washington looking to get their first bowl bid since 2002. 7 straight years, and they've been a long 4 years for Jake Locker. Wants to end that drought tonight. Good field position. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 39-yard line. Washington State shows blitz. Locker reads it but cannot complete the pass intended for Jermaine Kearse.
Well, now you see what Washington State did there. They bring pressure on 1st down. So that's a blitz stopping. That's a run stopping blitz, assuming that they would run on 1st. So now, 2nd down and long, anywhere between the 30s is generally another pressure down. Let's see if Washington State brings pressure a 2nd straight time.
Good winning Kearse wide to the right. They look for Goodwin. He's got it. Looks for the 50, but he'll be short. Gets up to about the 48-yard line. Tyree Toomer, the sophomore out of St. John Bosco High School in Los Angeles on the stop, but he did pick up 9.
So we had some breakers there. At first, the pass on first down, that's a trend breaker for Washington. That sets the stage. That made Washington State not bring pressure in a normal pressure down. So now you swing that pass out, you get yourself 9 yards on second down.
Third down, they need 1. Washington 2 of 4 tonight. We've got movement, and they're going to stop the play, and it's going to go against Washington. They were drawn offsides.
They're going to get big number 91 for Washington out there as a tight end.
Next, Versus brings you an all-new sports talk show featuring 2 of the most talkative and talked about NFL stars, Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens. The T. Ocho Show. You think you've seen it all, you ain't seen nothing yet. Next, only on Versus. Well, successful talk show. They're both having pretty good seasons, too.
Yes, they are. Terrell Owens, at his age, starting to show up. Having quite a year for the Bengals.
Third down at about 6. Locker looks over the middle, and the pass is knocked down. It looks like Travis Long is the one that got the big meat hook up on that.
Well, Jake Locker, not a tall quarterback. He drops and stands in the pocket. Watch all these arms come up. If you can't get there, hands got to go up. That ball would have been blocked by Travis Long's helmet if he hadn't put his arms up there.
Well, Rass back at his 30. There's Justin back at his 15 to receive the kick. Justin swings over to his right, catches it on the run, he loses the football. Still loose. We have a penalty flag thrown. I think Washington State may have gotten it back.
Well, first thing, the flag happened middle of the field. But then you take a look, why did he try to field that ball? Because the last time he didn't, and it put him all the way to the 1 yard line. So he felt pressure to make that play.
Well, here's the call. Wow.
It will be enforced from the spot where the play ended. First down.
7th penalty between the 2 teams tonight.
Washington State's offense, another hole they're in. You look here, he's on a dead run, trying to make a play and field it. Doesn't have enough of his hands out, just gets his gloves out. Very aware. Everybody hustling to that ball and making a play. You like what they do there, but boy, they're in a hole again.
Bennett Bontemps is the one who came up with the football, but after the penalty, the ball is backed up now to the 9 yard line. Check that, it's the 4 yard line now.
You take a look at that first drive, they made a little bit, got 34 yards, got the 9 plays, but since then, not so hot for Washington State. They've got to switch the field here.
Second drive in a row, they started inside their own 5 yard line. Ball's loose! The Huskies look like they may have fallen on it, but I think Washington State may take it away. And it was Chance Staden coming up with the football.
Well, they go with 2 backs here, and they do cross motion. And I don't know, it's very nonchalant. Doesn't seem that he ever really has a good handle on the ball, and a great job of knocking that ball loose up front.
The play clocks are malfunctioning. Please shut down the play clock on both ends of the field. Play clock will be kept by the back judge until the clocks are reestablished.
Well, the play clocks, that's tough now for the quarterbacks, because they want to look up on either end of the field. One shows 40, the other shows 0.
Yeah, tough on the quarterback. They're going to have to arrange something with the back judge, so he'll give him a sign when how many seconds are down so that he knows to start hustling.
Jack Wood, our referee, sounds like the chin's getting a little frozen there on the last call. And now Toole.
Well, Washington State's hurting themselves a lot in this last few drives. They've got to come up with something.
2-back set with Montgomery and Staden. Toole's going to put it up on a 4-man rush. Goes deep down the middle, has a man and he underthrows him. Daniel Blackledge, the intended receiver, He had a step on the secondary.
That's where you see the inexperience of Toole. Now, his hand might have gotten hit as he threw the ball, but it appeared that he just tried to put air under it. You take a look at him step forward here. Does his arm get hit? No. He just really tried to soft soak that thing in instead of overthrowing his receiver. Let your guy make a play. Get it out there to him.
Looked like he kind of alligator armed it. You know, just started to get out there and just didn't want to let loose with it. So now he faces third down at 11. Toole looking left, still looking. Going down the middle, has a receiver there. Incomplete, intended for Wilson. Quentin Richardson on the coverage.
If you take a look at Marquise Wilson here, the freshman, the ball's going to come right in, and if you take a look, it
hit off his
like
helmet.
It hit the defender's helmet and right into his chest. He was looking to catch it with his hands, exactly what you're supposed to do. But when it hits his chest, there's no chance.
And now Forrest is forced to kick it away again from his own end zone, and Collier standing set to receive it in Cougar territory. And he gets off a beauty. Collier backs up to the 40. Loses the football. Picked up by Washington. Down to the 40-yard line.
Well, if you're a Washington State fan, you're thinking everything's going against you.
Yeah.
You've had some calls go against you. You've had the ball bounce out and you not get it back. Here's a perfect example. The ball's knocked out, but Huskies are around it. The thing is, there's no such thing as luck. These kids are coached. You hold your blocks, you follow the ball, you run downfield. Therefore, if the ball's out, you're in a position to make a play. Really heads up, smart football by the Huskies there.
Not much offense on the part of either team tonight. 123 yards for the Huskies, 51 yards for the Cougars. Polk and Sylvester in the backfield. Great field position. Blocker play action. Here comes the blitz, goes down the middle, has a receiver, Carson, it's incomplete. Nolan Washington, the redshirt freshman, on the coverage.
Well, this is going to be coming right in your living room. When you look at this ball get up there, he's going to give his guy a chance to make a play. Defender gets up, gets an arm over, knocks that ball out. Nolan Washington on the defense there. Good job at timing his jump, putting his arm over.
You know, you think of all the injuries that Jake Locker has had, going back even a couple of years, but this year, that ball was well thrown.
Oh,
he doesn't look like he's hurting tonight.
No,
Gutsy performance.
Gave his guy a chance to make a play.
Gutsy performance last week versus Cal. Polk stood up behind the line of scrimmage. He'll be dropped for a 2-yard loss. Now we talked about Jake Locker's injury. You have to go back to 2007. Injured a neck and helmet-to-helmet hit against Oregon State. Missed the next game with Cal. 08 broke the thumb versus Stanford. 4th game of the year. Missed the rest of the season. This season, the injuries are numerous. Bruised ribs, bruised thigh, limited practice time early. Then fractured a rib against Stanford. Missed the Oregon game.
When I modeled for that graphic, I didn't think they were going to miss it.
Exactly. Third down, they need 12. Locker looks. Patiently waiting. Plenty of time. Here comes the pressure. Still looking. He heads to the sideline, and he is going to take a hit inside the 40 at the 38-yard line, but that'll be well short of the first down. Myron Beck, one of the seniors out of Seattle, Washington, made the hit.
Hey, Myron Beck, how smart is he? First off, great zone coverage. They keep everybody contained up. He has nowhere to go. But then Myron Beck has a guy in front of him and knows enough to push him right at the feet of Locker and make the tackle rather than let the guy turn and block on him. Phenomenal play by Myron Beck.
Absolutely. Kyle Rath wasn't even on the team in August. Took the place of Will Mahan after game 1 when he was injured, and he's going to fake it. Throwing it up in the air, pass is caught by Kurtz. Inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. It covered 30 yards.
Well, you've got what's called your gunner. It's going to be the left side of your screen. Watch Curse. Stop, come back for that ball. The defender, who in this case was the blocker, wasn't ready for it, and boy, you know he's fired up.
I'd say so. Once again, he wasn't even with the team in August.
Oh, hey, talk about what a game Rasmus had, though. He's pinned him down on the 2, pinned him inside the 10, comes up with that play. This kid right now is your Apple Cup MVP.
So far in Nolan Washington, one of the defenders of Washington State, he is down at the 22-yard line. We'll take a break. 7 minutes left to play in the opening half. Huskies on the move again, leading by 7. Washington being helped off the field. With 7 minutes left to play in the opening half. If we get an update on his condition, we will pass it on to you. Wachiku has checked in. Chima Wachiku, the senior out of Allen, Texas, has come in to take the place of Nolan Washington. Wachiku, a former starter, 3 straight years, has been academic all Pac-10. But Washington has it, 1st and 10, ball on the 7-yard line. Collier joins Locker in the backfield. Locker switches directions. A lot of green in front of him. Touchdown, Huskies.
Touchdown score by number 10, Jake Locker.
When you talk to other players about Jake Locker, Glenn, they say he is a freak athlete.
Yeah, he's got the speed to run away from you. He's got the strength to bowl you over.
Let's go, Huskies!
And he just does a good job of making something out of nothing, catching, contained, being sucked in too far, and he's gone for that score.
And the extra point by Eric Folk is good. 6 minutes and 42 seconds left in the half. Jake Locker with the rushing touchdown, his 5th of the year.
Radio 104.3 playing the hits for 60 seconds.
Looking at it again.
Well, if you take look on your right side, defensive end sucks in. Myron Beck gets caught inside. Both guys lose contain. That's 2 gaps to your right that are wide open. Take a look at real speed. This happens fast. Casey Hamlet, Myron Beck, both guys get caught inside. You're going to see it right here. 96, Casey Hamlet, he's caught. Right there, 13, Myron Beck, he got caught. Both guys overextend themselves. They over-pursue. When that happens, a guy with the speed of Jake Locker, too fast, too much, gets outside, makes it a 14-0 game.
And that is his 28th career rushing touchdown, moving him up to number 4 in Washington history. Ty Hugh McElhaney and Rich Alexis.
You know, when you have a young team like Washington State does, Coach Wolf has to understand, and I know he does, he's got to get these kids to believe what they're doing right now. Get them to understand this isn't about trying to score 14 points on this drive. You can't do it. Let's get a drive. Let's start with a first down. We get a first down, we can worry about a drive. We get a drive, we can worry about a touchdown. That's what you have to do when you have a young team.
Once again, it has been a long time since Paul Wolf's squad has played, back to November 13th. They just don't seem fine-tuned at this point. Washington kicking into a pretty good breeze. Isaiah Barton again from the 8. Up to the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at our Gillette Fusion Pro Glide flashback. We take it back to November 22nd, 2008. Trailing by 3 with under a minute to play. Kevin Lapina hit Jared Karstetter on a 48-yard pass. That set up Nico Krasu's 28-yard field goal to tie the score at 10. After trading field goals, Krasu's 37-yard kick won at 16-13 in double overtime. That was back in 2008, November 22nd. See what they've done the last 4 Apple Cup games in Pullman. How about that? What it's been decided by? Will this one be as close? Jewell just rears up and lets it fly. Up to the 27-yard line, Isaiah Barton, junior out of Los Angeles, California.
That ball didn't come out of Jewell's hand very well. Died on him out there. Lucky it wasn't a loss of a few yards. Good job by the receiver, making a little something, breaking a tackle and getting 3 or 4.
One of the things that was impressive Thursday night, we were here for practice, and it was snowing. I mean, it was coming down. And he had great velocity on his ball, and he was able to hold on to it. You know, the cold weather doesn't bother the young man. Toole sees the blitz, hit from behind as he lets it go. Nate Williams coming up from that safety spot. The senior out of Renton, Washington, and he gave Toole quite a hit in the backside.
Yeah, and Sarkisian is saying, he's saying, him and Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator, saying, let's get after Toole. This is straight unblocked coming at you. This ball was going to fly on Toole anyway, the way he was throwing that ball.
And Nate Williams, one of the guys that was on the team a couple of years ago that went 0-12. He would love to end his senior season with a bowl game. 3rd down and 6. Five-man rush. Toole almost intercepted. That was a pick 6 by Fellner, who just happens to be Jeff Toole's best friend from high school.
Well, Toole locked on this receiver from the very get-go. It's man, and look at Fellner come up on him real quick in the slot. He read the quarterback's eyes, broke on the ball, broke to the intercept point, was right there. Again, you know why he's a safety, because he dropped that ball. But
well, they grew up together, Jeff Toole and Fellner, and they were looking forward to this game. Here's Aguilar. No place to go, down to the 27-yard line after a 44-yard kick. Lewis.
Well, Ron, not a good scene on the Husky sideline. Take a look at their freshman cornerback, Nolan Washington, who was helped off the field a few moments ago. The trainers took off his right shoe. They looked at that foot for just a minute, got the cart, and you can see now that he's headed back. And one of the docs said that he is going for x-rays, and we'll have maybe some information on it a little bit later.
All right, wish that young man the best because he's had a heck of a year. Started all games this season, the former high school running back, quarterback, and DB. So at 5:40 to go in the first half, the Huskies take over, and again it's Polk. Big hole up to the 45-yard line, pickup of 17 on the play.
Well, you take a look at the inside 3 of the line, center and guards. Watch the push. Hat on a hat, it springs wide open. Well, I'll tell you what, you get big Colin Porter, the guard, and he gets to the second level. Look at the hole open up here by Chris Polk. Okay, I'm pretty certain, Ron, I know I could get through it, but I think you might even wearing loafers.
No, I don't think I could. I'd have to stop at a rest stop, a Stuckey's between getting the ball and running. Locker looks up, just rifles a pass, lost on the ground. Washington State says they have it, but I think the Huskies got it back. Deion Buchanan had the hit.
Now that's a center, Drew Schaefer, hustling out there and getting on the ball. You take a look at this. This is a screen. It's designed when the ball gets out, linemen hustle. Watch the offensive lineman. Excuse me, that wasn't Schaefer. That was Senio Clemente, the left tackle. What that is, and I'm going to say it again, it is not luck. You're coached to hustle to the ball, and that's where he was.
He did just that. On 2nd down and 4. The run game continues just to grind up yards. Polk gets close to the first down to the 45-yard line, and that might be enough. And it is a first down. Methodical drives tonight for Washington.
Absolutely. When we talked to the coaches, Ron, what did they say they wanted to do? They wanted to push those inside tackles.
Right.
They wanted their big 3 inside to manhandle them and get north and south. Well, that has certainly happened to this point in the game.
Get vertical on the inside tackles is what they told us. So far, so good. Now Polk becomes a wide receiver in the bottom of your screen. Penalty flag. Some movement.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
8th penalty in the first half. Let's take a look at Lowe's building toward the BCS. Steve Sarkisian would love to see the Washington Huskies on this list. Auburn, BCS poll, 1, Oregon 2, TCU 3, Stanford 4, and Wisconsin 5. Everybody seems to be taking care of business today. TCU, of course, done with their season. Locker to pull. And he will lose probably a half a yard on the play.
Travis Long, great job coming in from his end. Understands Locker doesn't have the ball, so he can take off on that handoff. Did a great job getting in there. You'll see number 89, Travis Long. He's on the bottom of your screen. Comes up, reads tackle, block down, gets in there. Really, the biggest part of that play, though, is Anthony Lorenzi, the defensive tackle. He determined by his play where the ball was going to go. That allowed Travis Long to make the tackle.
That brings up a second down and 15 for the Huskies. Sylvester moves back to the fullback spot. Locker, pressure backside, gets rid of it. First down, Huskies first inside the 15, and they'll mark him out at about the 9-yard line. Tyree Toomer was on the coverage. A pickup, though, of 41 yards for Jermaine Kearse.
Well, you take a look. In actuality, what happens, Shimon Wachiku is here. He falls down. Because he trips, now he's got yardage. And you see him there trailing the play. Toomer comes in and makes the tackle. But remember, Nolan Washington hurt out of the game. That's a backup. They attack him. Big game.
Well, you look at Kearse, and he has improved so much since he came here from Lakewood, Washington. They called him a project when he first became a Husky. Now it's first and goal. Penalty flag is thrown. Locker just going to let this one fly.
That's where you see the age of Locker. He knows they didn't stop the play. He knows it's a defensive penalty. He's got a free one.
Illegal formation. Offense. Too many men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
He knows he's got the ability to run and throw that ball out of bounds. Don't make a mistake. Now, in this case, it was an offensive penalty, but he didn't compound it by throwing a bad ball into coverage.
Absolutely. Coach is telling us that Locker, he loves the cold weather. I'm not sure Paul Wolf does. He says he's a Ferndale kid, Ferndale, Washington. He's used to this cold weather. Start telling us on Wednesday, I'm not worried about him. He loves it.
Well, walking around out here, it seems everybody here likes this weather.
Yeah, well, good for them. Here's Polk. Nice little sidestep. Kafusi tries to wrap him up, but he leans inside the 10, down to about the 9-yard line.
It seems that the fallback position for the Huskies is always, all right, we had a little bit of an issue. Let's run north and south. Let's put our big guys on you and push you a little bit.
They've been pushing all night. Sarkisian has to like what he's seen so far in his offense. Dominating the line of scrimmage. 163 yards offense in the opening half for the Huskies. Locker fakes the pitch, looks, throws off balance. Is it intercepted? Yes, it is! Dayon Buchanan, the true freshman out of Fairfield, California. His second pick of his career. I would say that was an ill-advised throw.
Yeah, when you're on the move, like Jake Locker was, and he throws, if you go backside at all, the speed at which the defender is closing makes it easy for him to get there and make the pick. A phenomenal job there. Dayon Buchanan, watch him close ground on that ball. It's thrown behind the receiver. He has the chance. He gets there. Great defensive play. Ill-advised throw by Jake Locker.
Well, he had an interception versus USC. Coaches say that they love the fact he's turned into a film rat. Watches tape every night with Tyree Toomer.
Hey, Washington State's making plays defensively. They got to just capitalize.
Got to do something. This is their best run, and it is Montgomery up over the 35 to the 37-yard line. 1:34 to play in the first half.
Well, watch James Montgomery here. It's, again, zone read. That's all it is. Get outside, find the hole. I like the fact he puts his pads down and hustles. Now, they told us this is the best he's looked in a long time since that catastrophic injury last year.
Right after the SMU game, had a compartment syndrome, and they weren't sure he'd ever play football again because of that leg injury. Inside of 1:20 in the half. Huskies bring a blitz. Toole rifles the pass, wide open, complete, another first down. Montgomery out of the backfield.
Emotional game. It starts ebbing and flowing. You get a play. Your defense comes up. Now you start moving that ball a little. Now let's see what Washington does. Do they come with pressure? Do they do something to disrupt Jeff Toole?
Longest reception of the year for Montgomery. It covered 15. Here comes pressure again. Toole, a long arc. Caught by Carstetter, and he'll stop the clock just short of the first down.
Carstedter's a special guy.
Oh, yeah.
Meeting with him yesterday. If there's a kid that it doesn't remind you of Dennis the Menace, I tell you, what a guy he is. Just seemed good-natured, having fun, but a little mischievous the whole time.
Well, he led the comeback a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, when he was just a freshman. with a great game. 54 seconds left in the half. Second down and 2. Low snap. Toole may have to outlet it to Montgomery. He keeps it himself. First down, Cougars.
They got a home crowd. They're making a play here and there. They're getting this crowd revved up now.
Yep.
Not much time left before half. They want to get a little something here.
How big was that interception now? Looked like Washington was going in to make it a 21-0 game, but Buchanan with the interception. And now the Huskies have it with 46 seconds left. Ball's on the 37-yard line.
Regardless of what transpires here to end the half, Coach Wolf knows at halftime he's got to get in there and calm his team down a little bit and say, we're doing some good things. Let's continue to do those and stop the bad things and get rolling.
Here comes pressure again. Toole steps up in the pocket. He's got running room. Another first down. And he takes a dive at the 21-yard line.
For a kid who generally looks to throw the ball, we knew he could run, but he looked great there. Making a guy miss, made one great cut to get himself out of that pocket.
Once again, 79 yards rushing in his last game against Oregon State.
Watch this first cut right there, and then back here. That's the big one. That swung him for another 10, 15 yards.
And Washington State calls a timeout. Ball's on the 21-yard line. 35 seconds left. Now let's take a look at our diamond in the rough. Our K Jewelers diamond in the rough. And we've got a couple of them tonight. We've already seen one with Buchanan with the interception, the true freshman. And our diamond in the rough, though, is Marquise Wilson.
Just a freshman who, if he's polished the right way by this strength and conditioning group, and they can put some muscle on him and get him there, he's a kid that already the best freshman wide receiver in the country. He could explode on the scene next year and the year after.
Wilson, 2 receptions tonight. 5 touchdowns for his career. And he came in just 32 yards from 1,000 yards on receiving. And he will come wide to the left.
With plenty of time on the clock. You still have 2 timeouts left. No need to panic here at all. A lot to do.
3 wide receivers to the right. Toole looks right. Fakes a pump. Over the middle. Intercepted. No, caught. Daniel Blackledge came down with it. In between 2 white jerseys.
Well, in his vice throw, he probably shouldn't have thrown this ball. But he gets out there, and this ball, luckily for Toole, and I say there's no such thing as luck, but for him, that thing dies just a little at the end, and he avoids the interception.
Daniel Blackledge, another one of the players that's finally healthy, as Glenn mentioned a moment ago about Montgomery, but Paul Wolf saying this is the healthiest we've been since the beginning of the year, before even their first game of the year. Watch this, and you have to wonder, how did he get it in there?
Yeah, as I said, ill-advised. He shouldn't have thrown this ball. 2 defenders, safety over the top, trailing backer. Yet somehow, some way, Daniel Blackledge comes up with it. Here's another look at it. Everybody finds his own and sits down. But I'll tell you what, you got Court Dennison, middle linebacker, trailing behind that. Very lucky that ball doesn't get picked off on the top side by the safety.
Absolutely. 32 seconds left in the half. The ball's on the 5-yard line. First and goal for the Cougars. Toole fires. Caught. Touchdown, Washington State. Carstetter with his 7th touchdown reception of the year. Nice throw by Toole. His 16th touchdown pass of the season. And the extra point is good. 7 plays, 80 yards, only 73 seconds to do it.
Carstetter is your outside receiver. They run double slants. That means your slot receiver runs one and your top receiver runs one. Jeff Toole with a good throw there. Isaiah Barton was the slot. Carstetter to the outside. Both slants come. There's that ball. Look at that. Very pretty.
And the reaction by Toole. So 2 big catches. One by Blackledge, one by Carstetter. Those 2 are roommates. They're the ones who set this whole thing up. And it's a 14-7 game with 28 seconds left in the half. How important was that for Washington State? I mean, you had the interception. We all know how important that is. But it's like turning over the basketball during a hoop game. You got to make the other guy pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at this game so far for Washington State, they've hit hard. They've knocked the ball out several times, just haven't come up with it. Well, this time on interception they do. But more importantly then, the coaching staff, Toole, the offensive line, they all do their part and move down the field and score. That's a lot of confidence for a young team going in at the half. Now they got to turn around and play cover, play a little special teams, and make it all mean something.
Well, you still have 28 seconds left, and we've seen some pretty crazy things this year. Let's check in with Lewis. Lewis.
Guys, it's amazing that Steve Sarkisian recognizes this change in momentum. He just looked back to both of his receivers standing in the left end zone and made that signal high and tight. High and tight. Hold the ball.
Beautiful. Now don't forget the Arizona game. Grassus surprised everybody with an onside kick. Kind of a doubt that he would do it here. And it was the opening kickoff of that game, as a matter of fact. And he's going to try to drive this down to the 5-yard line. Talia from about the 6. Takes a hit, runs into his own man at the 19-yard line. Let's take a look at our Toyota Quality Drive summary. And it all started with the interception by a freshman.
Dayon Buchanan closes in and gets this ball. Jeff Toole using his legs, getting downfield, showing that leadership ability. And then, look at this. Bad decision, good ending. And that all leads to the touchdown to Carstetter. Nice drive by the Washington State Cougars there to bring a lot of momentum back to their squad going into the half.
Well, Steve Sarkisian says we're not going to take any chances. We're just going to take a knee, and since they both come out of the same tunnel, I think they're going to let Washington go in first. The officials were holding up Washington State, saying, don't even go down in there. Here's Lewis Johnson with Coach Sarkisian.
Steve, how difficult is it to manage the ebbing and the flowing of a passionate rivalry game like this?
Well, we just got to take advantage of opportunities. You know, we've had plenty of them. We're not taking advantage of them right now.
And your thoughts on how Locker managed the first half?
Oh, I thought he played fine.
All right, thanks. Ron?
All right, thank you very much, Lewis. Washington, 236 yards in the opening half. Washington State, 135. The score at the half, Washington 14, the Cougars 7 in the 103rd edition of the Apple Cup. Now let's join Kevin Frazier, Roland Williams, and Jeremy Bloom in our Versus studio with a Geico halftime show.
Ron, thank you so much, and what a great matchup we have in Pullman. Welcome to the Geico Halftime Show. As always, I'm riding with my guys, Roland.
77-yard touchdown run called back because of the penalty. And Steve Sarkisian trying to fire up his troops. Paul Wolf likewise. Once again, as you mentioned at the top of the show, this could be a season-defining game for Paul Wolf because there are questions about whether or not he will be back next year. And, of course, for Washington on the other side, if they win, they go to a bowl.
You know, the fact that there's questions whether Paul Wolf will be back or not is mind-boggling to me. I realize he hasn't won a lot of games. In this day and age, you cannot turn around a program in just 3 years or 4 years. Look at the programs that take their time and they're patient. And I'll point out, too, Missouri with Gary Pinkel, they waited, they get there a perennial contender. Arizona with Mike Stoops, after 3 years, it was not looking good. They stuck with him, and now 7, 8 wins each of the last 3 years. Be patient to rebuild a program.
I'll throw in Dan McCarney when he was at Iowa State. He's now the new head coach at North Texas State. But Dan, everybody was calling for his head, and he turns him around and starts taking him to a bowl. Here's Jesse Callier from about the 10-yard line. Near side, tripped up. falls forward to about the 29-yard line. Right before the kickoff, Lewis Johnson got up with head coach Paul Wolf of the Cougars.
Paul, your first 5 drives, you had 5 punts, but you were able to score on the last one before the half ended. How did you get things changed and get them moving?
Well, we had some penalties really early. They put us back, and then we had a couple times to start on our own 1-yard line. We just couldn't get out. We're sputtered, and we just seemed to kind of get caught on fire a little bit. Made a few plays here in that last drive.
What did you say to your team at halftime about keeping their poise, about keeping their cool in this heated rivalry with 1 half to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think we will at this point. I think the bottom line is that we got to come out and make a few more plays than we did, settle down. I think we're a little tight and a little rusty maybe, but I think maybe we broke some of that off. Hopefully come out here, we tackle better, and make more plays on offense.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
I think the key, he said, was tackling better. They did not tackle well in the first 30.
Tackling better, and put the sombrero on your defensive line.
Yeah.
Say, defensive ends, tackle. Defensive tackles, stop the run. Hold your gaps.
On second down, Polk, right side, he is stopped at about the 34-yard line. Casey Hamlet, you were talking about putting on the defensive line, the senior out of Edmonds, Washington.
Well, your defensive ends in the first quarter, first half, too many missed tackles. Too many times where your tackles might have stopped them, you weren't there. You didn't wrap up. Well, right there we see Casey Hamlet do it.
And it brings up a 3rd down and about 5 for the Huskies. Polk in the backfield with Locker. He goes in motion. Cougars showing blitz, and here they come. Locker reads it perfectly to Kurz. 30, 20, it's a foot race. Touchdown, Huskies. 66 yards. Great read by number 10, Jake Locker.
Well, there you go. Little option slant route. There's no way one-on-one after he's got the ball at depth you're going to catch him. Jake Locker, good job of seeing safety come. They showed the blitz just a little too quick. He saw it and came up big with it. And they get a little lucky on the PAT.
There are no style points and extra points. That hit a lot of things, but it's still good. But Jake Locker hooks up with Jermaine Kearse. Kearse's 11th touchdown reception of the year. Jake Locker now has 16 on the season. He reads the blitz. They connect, and the Huskies push their lead to 21-7. Jake Locker likes what he sees. Jermaine Kearse moves up to number 4 in receiving yards in Washington history. He also has his longest touchdown reception of the year, and that gives the Huskies a 21-7 lead early on here in quarter number 3. Looked like the Cougars got the momentum at the end of the half, but the Huskies just snatched it right from them. Eric Folk set to kick it away. This will be 5 yards deep. Isaiah Barton will wisely take a knee.
Let's take a look at this touchdown. Now I want you to watch. The safety started here and walked up there, and he's going to come. This receiver is going to press and go right there. What's in common? Look where the safety was. Look where this ball is thrown. The ball comes out right where that safety vacated. There's no one over the top to stop this ball. Great job by Jake Locker. The snap was held just long enough for him to identify blitz, and just enough for the wide receiver to understand the route to take it to the vacated safety spot.
Well, let's see if the Cougars can respond. Toole with a deep out. They're going to call it a completion up to the 36-yard line.
Daniel Blackledge with a great route, a good throw by Toole. Really credit Daniel Blackledge getting that foot down, though, when he comes out right near the sideline. Had to really put it down and did a nice job, very aware. Wow, that's close. Great work on the camera, guys.
Pickup of 16 on the play, and I think they're going to review that.
Well, they can review it. It's a catch.
Reset play clock to 25. Thank you.
The play clock.
Started on my whistle.
Now the play clocks, we understand, are working. They seem to be synced up so far. Well, it's 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 35-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown up to about the 40-yard line.
Well, in that,
you can see his reaction like, oh.
well, it's either illegal formation or offside, depending on what they decide here.
Illegal formation, offense. Too many men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
5 penalties on each team tonight.
Yeah, both teams getting themselves in trouble.
Yeah.
Early on, Washington State was the cut blocks. They've gotten rid of that scheme because it was the same scheme over and over again that was catching them.
Well, part of the key for Washington State in that first half was getting Jeff Toole on the edge running the football. See if they can do it again. The opening drive of the game was good, but the middle four were not good. Here comes the blitz. Toole is hit as he releases. Incomplete.
Jeff Toole sees the blitz, but we've seen this now 3 times out of him. He recognizes the blitz and he throws the route, but he puts so much air under it. It's like he doesn't really want to throw it. He wants to trust his arm. Throw the ball. You know where your guy's at. Put it out there to him. You have to get air under it, but it's almost he's so tentative he doesn't really want to throw it.
He's got to cut loose. Now it's 2nd down and long, 15. Toole with some time. What a hit at the 38-yard line on Daniel Blackledge. Quentin Richardson, little attention check there.
Well, Quentin Richardson, if he closes on the ball instead of the man, he might get an interception here, but he's going for the big hit. But again, I'll go back to the coaching staff. I like the fact that they run that. Instead, you don't have to go for the whole McGilla. All you have to do is get yourself a few. Now they've got a somewhat manageable 3rd down.
3rd down and about 7. Again, Washington showing blitz. They bring 4. Toole steps up. Now he heads to the outside. He's going to be dragged down from behind, about a yard loss on that play.
And there's the difference between Jeff Toole's scrambling ability and Jake Locker's. Jeff Toole's a good runner, but he's north-south only. He doesn't have that speed Jake Locker does. Jake Locker can make you miss.
Nate Fellner, his good friend, high school teammate, Fresno, California. Clovis West High School came up and tackled his former high school quarterback. Now the Cougars will have to kick it away. The breeze is starting to kick up just a little bit here. The rugby style. Hits the back of, I think, a Cougar's head. That was not pretty, but I guess they got the results. Ball is down at about the 18-yard line. 43 yards on the kick. His first touchdown reception since the Arizona game, by the way. Now Locker goes back to work. Going deep down the middle, and everybody's getting tangled up at about the 45-yard line. That'll be incomplete. It was intended for Goodwin. We had a couple of crimson jerseys right on top of him.
Locker threw that where no one was getting it. He realized after he set up at his launch point, there was nothing to be had. Get rid of that ball.
Once again, a heady play. Playing in his final game in a Cougar uniform. Wants to be the first team to go to a bowl since 02. Back to the ground game. Colt tries to get to the outside. He's going to be dragged from behind. Close to a horse collar. Kevin Koyman on the stop. Didn't start tonight. Has been the starter at defensive end.
Well, he did a nice job of pursuing, getting off a block, and getting out there to make that tackle.
He has deceptive quickness when you watch him on tape and watch him in person.
Well, he's so tall. He's 6'6".
Yeah.
So he's got that long stride.
First team academic all Pac-10, Mr. Pullman is. And now it brings up the 3rd down and 11. They empty the backfield, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. We've got a penalty flag already thrown. I think they ran out of time.
That they did.
Good ball, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Let's check in with Lewis Johnson on Jake Locker. Lewis.
And Ron, it was interesting to see Jake Locker on the sideline before he came out on the field. He put the phone down after talking to his coordinator upstairs, walked over to his offensive line, got on his knees and says, guys, here's how we're going to win this game. We're going to run it down their throats, long drives. We'll only throw if we have to, and if we can do that, we'll win this Apple Cup.
I'll tell you what, he's going to take this team on his back. But he's got a long way to go now. 3rd down at 16. They set up the screen pass, which has hurt Washington State this year. Not this time.
Well, that was great recognition across the board by the defensive tackles, defensive ends, linebackers for Washington State. Every guy knew the minute the screen was thrown, their responsibility and got there on it. They were in good coverage to begin with.
Lorenzi does a nice job from that defensive line position.
He's a determinator.
Yes, he is.
And he determines where the play goes. If he plays well, everybody else makes tackles.
Rasp, a nice kick, angles it to the near side. Caught at the 35-yard line. Not much running room. They'll mark him out at about the 42, 43 yards on the kick.
You know, Rod, it's time for the WC. This December 16th, the WC returns live to Versus with 2 championship fights. Lightweight champ Ben Henderson makes his second title defense against top contender Anthony Showtime Pettis. And Dominic Cruz puts the bantamweight belt on the line against hard-hitting veteran Scott Jorgensen. Live December 16th at 8 Eastern. World Extreme Cage Fighting. Only on Versus. I love it.
You love that. Okay. I got my Penguins and you got your cage fighting.
MMA, man. I'm a mixed martial arts fan with a heavy influence of jiu-jitsu and judo.
Yeah, Carstetter with the reception, and he gets close to midfield. It's getting a little chippy on the near sideline. His third catch of the night. Been rather quiet so far. This is, I think, an important drive for the Cougars.
Very much so. You talk about momentum and emotion. Well, Washington came out, got that score. You were able to stop them, your defense, on their next drive, and that was huge. So your defense has stepped up. Offensively, you got to return the favor now.
Now they got second down and short, their best field position to begin a drive so far tonight. Montgomery takes a pop, he gets the first down. Court Dennison, he's got 4 tackles tonight. Dennison's one of those linebackers that's really stepped up for Washington, not only physically, but in a leadership role.
Well, that play was really made by John Fullington, the left tackle. He got to the second level and got a block on Victor Ayewa. When he did that, that sprung him for just enough yards to get the first.
Now Gino Simone goes wide to the left. First and 10, ball's on the 46-yard line. Low snap. Toole keeps it, looks for a block, gets it inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line.
He set up the block of Daniel Blackledge really well. Now, it's a zone read. He fakes it, and now watch him follow Blackledge. He waits, and then cuts on. That's incredible patience out of your quarterback. It wasn't an effective block other than the fact that Toole set it up.
But isn't it one of those things, if you're Blackledge, you just want to get in the guy's way?
Just get yourself in the way.
Well, again, they pick up 7 on first down. Second down and 3. They'll try the right side. They've got the first down and a couple to spare. Inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. Montgomery finally brought down by Trufant and Mason Foster.
Big block by Zach Williams, the center, getting out in front of this one. I want you to watch the center, 54. Folds over the top, kicks out on Mason Foster. They've changed their blocking scheme a little bit. They're bringing the play side tackle down to the second level, pulling the center around whichever gap he can get into and blocking with him. Lead blocking with him. Really nice design.
Well, Toole changes the play at the line of scrimmage, gives it to Montgomery, and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all he's going to get.
You know, football's about adjustments. If everybody just lined up and played, you'd have blowouts.
That's exactly right.
But you got to make your adjustments. And we saw the adjustment Washington made. They came out, they score right away. Well, now you're seeing adjustments by Washington State with their blocking schemes. And now they're moving the ball a little bit.
Second down and 10. We near 7.5 left in the third quarter. Toole brings a man inside. Carstetter cuts across the middle. Toole reads the blitz, gets up inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Close to the first down. Mason Foster, 6 tackles tonight to go with a sack.
Well, Toole sits back and he knows pressure's coming. He can't find his man down the field, so he just lets nature go. Runs with those legs.
Boy, he was so close to being sacked, but he felt that presence behind him.
Well, he knew it was coming. He had read that much. What he didn't do, though, is understand where the void in the defense was going to be then.
And LeBron Mitz is checked into the backfield now. And now Toole's going to the far side of the field. And we do have a stoppage of play. Well, I think he's got some blood on the tip of a finger. You can see him calling for the trainer.
Now, I know he's a quarterback, but if you recall, we've seen offensive linemen with cut-up noses and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback, no blood on the finger.
Yeah, Paul Wolf had to burn a timeout, and so will we. In Idaho, about 30 minutes or so outside of Pullman, and they lit up the riverfront area, and it was beautiful. Look out your hotel room, and that's what you saw. Along with Lewis Johnson, Glenn Parker, Ron Poole, with 7:08 left to play in the third quarter. Washington leading Washington State 21-7, 103rd Apple Cup. Once again, they got Jeff Toole's finger all bandaged up, I guess, and he's ready to go, and it looks like, oh, he's not in. They're going to put in Lobestall's in. He was a starter in 3 games.
The Washington State quarterback. By rule, he must stay out for one play.
Has to stay out one play.
Washington State is not charged for a timeout. That timeout was a media timeout only.
Well, so Marshall's going to get in. He was a starter for 3 games in both 08 and 09. He was actually knocked out of this game last year.
And this is huge. It's third down and short, and you've got a big drive you're trying to convert.
Now you're just going to give it to Montgomery on the ground, and he's got the first down inside the 20, down to the 19. Here's Lewis.
So what happened to Jeff Toole? He had a pretty good gash on the top of his left hand. He came over, the trainers tried to stop the bleeding, but then again, it was taking a bit of time. They grabbed the glove. He put the glove on real quick, but because it was taking so long, he had to come out because of the charge timeout, and we should see Jeff Toole going back in, Ron.
Well, his left elbow looks like it's got a little skin taken off also. See it right there, and if there's any blood, I'm sure they'll call that.
Hey, if you don't get a little bark taken off.
Yeah, we've got a Washington player down. Looks like Quentin Richardson.
If you don't get a little bark taken off in a football game, it's not a football game.
There you go. Especially when it's field turf like this. Now, one of the things that's kind of confusing, I think, for everybody is the Pac-10 Bowl situation. Oregon will be going to the national championship. They won. Auburn won today. Stanford likely. They got to stay in that 4 spot. BCS. Anybody that knocks them out of that, I want to find out where they live. And Arizona will be going to the Alamo or Holiday Bowl. And, of course, if Washington wins tonight, they will be going to one of the bowls, Alamo or Holiday Bowl.
You know, Ron, every year there's that one-loss team you think probably might be playing their best football right now, and they're the best team. Stanford, to me, looks as good or better than any team we've seen. Now, maybe it's the competition late in the season or not, but they are a very talented team.
And we saw Oregon, too, and they had that tight game against Cal on versus. Well, Jeff Toole is back into the lineup. Adam Long has had to check in at that cornerback spot for the Huskies, the sophomore out of St. Bernard High School in Los Angeles.
You know, this is tough for Washington State. A real loss of momentum. They were moving. Quarterback goes out, immediate timeout. They get a first down, another timeout. That hurts your momentum in a big way as an offense.
And now Karstetter on one-on-one with Marcus, with Desmond Trufant, right at the 20-yard line, the bottom of your screen. 3 wide receivers to the top. And they go to that side, and Toole's pass off the mark, looking for Daniel Blackledge. We have penalty flags thrown again.
From the looks of it, it looks like it was going to be a block. Something to do with the block and the way this play was designed, whether it was blocked downfield illegally.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Now, the ball's behind the line of scrimmage. You can block behind the line of scrimmage, but you can't go downfield. And I think he probably went downfield.
Illegal block. Offense.
Wow.
Number 1. 15-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Called out Gino Simone. How many of those illegal blocks do we have tonight?
Well, we've had a lot of chop blocks, but this is a little different. The chop blocks, for one thing, that was a scheme issue. They changed that. This one, you know, Paul Wolf probably wants to see it on the big board and check it out and make sure the officials know what they're doing.
Well, that's a big penalty. It goes back 15 yards all the way to the 34-yard line. First and 25 to go. Toole fakes a couple of handoffs, rifles the pass to Blackledge. Inside the 20, he lost the football, but he got it back to the 14-yard line. What a pass, though, by Jeff Toole. That had some mustard on it.
He put it where it had to go, and Blackledge, credit, he's having one heck of a game. He's finding those voids, setting down. He's facing a really good corner. And if they're going to zone and open big windows for him, he's going to find them.
Well, they call that about a 20-yard pickup, and that makes it 2nd down and 5. About 6 minutes left to play in quarter number 3. They go with a split backfield. The corners come up on the receivers. Toole fires. Touchdown, Blackledge. Paul Wolf's squad is pulled within 8. 5:53 to play in the 3rd. The all-important extra point. Ask the Arizona fans about this. And it is good. Daniel Blackledge with a touchdown reception, his 3rd of the year. 9 plays, 57 yards, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. You saw Daniel point to the heavens after the touchdown catch. He had to endure his mom, who he's very close to, passing away his sophomore year. And he gets the touchdown, and he looks up, and he said numerous occasions, "Mom is watching me." And he says hello to her. Okay, we got ourselves another football game.
Yeah, you bust a coverage. All it takes, you're in the wrong coverage once, and this time you bust a coverage. You got a guy running wide open.
Well, Paul Wolf's team overcame that 15-yard penalty, which set up a 1st and 25. They got 20 back on the next play, and then Blackledge's touchdown. That's called resiliency, I think, for those young players. How will the Huskies respond? They came out, first drive of the 2nd half, and they scored.
Blood won't show. God. Hey, blood won't.
You can hear that. I don't know if you guys caught that, but you can hear them saying, "Pull your sleeve down because the blood won't show."
Yeah, you're not fixing it, so just cover it up.
Cover that bad boy up. How about the Huskies? Let's see what they do on their next possession. Got the crowd back into it. Not many people have left despite frigid temperatures here on the Palouse. This is going to be a short kick, and it'll be Collier. Loses it. Well, they do pick it up, and they get it up to the 21-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. The Toole, the Blackledge connection.
And Toole sees what's happening. I want you to watch this safety. He goes forward. He rotates out. He'll stay here. It's a very open route. Watch out, James Byers. As the safety keeps looking out, no one right in the slot. Toole sees it. Blackledge sees it. They capitalize.
Blackledge's first touchdown reception since the Oregon game. Jake Locker and company go to work. They try the run, and they don't get a whole lot. Bernard Wolfgram coming up from that defensive tackle spot. He's got 3 tackles tonight.
Well, that was a real key. And in the first half, we talked a lot about the offensive line for Washington getting pushed. At halftime, a few adjustments. The ends making their tackles and wrapping up, but more importantly, those defensive tackles holding their gaps.
No gain on the last play. Pullman. They miss a tackle. He breaks to the outside over the 30 to the 31-yard line. That should be good enough for another first down.
A little over pursuit. Guys were holding their gaps well, but remember, if you hold too much pursuit on the backside, see what happens? Long gets caught inside. Kafusi gets held. And because of that, that gap opens up, and out comes Falk with the missed tackle.
Well, they said he was short, so it's 3rd down and less than a yard. Locker goes over the left guard spot, and he'll get the first down. You know, one of the things I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen tonight, the coaches, is when you look at tape, you would think that Washington would try to exploit the cornerbacks of Washington State. We really haven't seen that a whole lot tonight so far in this ballgame.
No, we haven't. And what we're seeing, though, is that dedication to your offensive line and to your running ability. Saying, I think we can exploit some guys on this Washington State front.
First set of downs. Locker looks right, throws right, incomplete. Pass intended for Aguilar.
Now, a huge down here for Washington State. You talk about momentum shifts and adjustments. You're well ahead of the chains as a defense. You're in an area where normally a second down would be pressure. You've been hurt tonight bringing pressure. So what do? Do you go man? Do you go zone? It looks like they're going to go two deep zone coverage.
Locker will keep it. Left side being pursued. Puts that right shoulder down, is able to pick up yardage up to about the 39-yard line. That'll be about a 7-yard gain. Air Justin on the stop.
It was a two-deep man coverage. I apologize, but what he sees, he gets a wide receiver running. Corner runs with him. That opens up the perimeter. He's able to get 6-7 yards. Now they've got manageable third down.
And they need 3. You can see that this Husky team jumping on the shoulders of Jake Locker right now. He looks at Pull. Instead fires tip. Ball is going to be incomplete. Too many crimson jerseys fighting over it. It looked like Buchanan and Alex Hoffman-Ellis both wanted the pigskin.
Remember when he played basketball, the rebound? He screamed, mine, mine. That ball bounces up. 2 guys fighting. And hey, I'll tell you what. That's a great job coming in there by Kearse and breaking up the interception.
Yeah. Well, it looked like Buchanan turned his head for a moment. Yeah, Kyle Raff's going to have to kick it away. And it takes a 90-degree bounce to the right. They'll mark it out inside the 30 at about the 26-yard line. Only 35 yards on the kick. Just a reminder, Next Versus brings you an all-new sports talk show featuring 2 of the most talkative and talked about NFL stars, Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens. We call it the T. Ocho Show. You think you've seen it all? You ain't seen nothing yet. Next, only on Versus. Right now, we've got 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in quarter number 3. Jeff Toole hooking up with Daniel Blackledge to cut the Husky lead down to 21-14. Low snap again. Toole getting pressure for the backside. And he may get a half a yard on the play. Nice job by Everett Thompson, the junior out of Renton, Washington. Guys trying to hug around the heaters. And I think if you look closely, you'll see Lewis Johnson laying underneath that. I may be wrong, but and you can see it's 28 degrees. Winds out of the east at 3 miles per hour, but I'm going to go on a limb and say it's a little bit colder than that.
Yeah, and a big second down right now. They got to get a few to get even with the chains a bit.
Toole looks left, tries to run a little slip screen, and he does. They get up over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Marquise Wilson finally brought down by Court Dennison. Wilson, that's only his 3rd catch of the night.
Great job pursuit inside. Guys getting there, making plays.
And now it's a big 3rd down play. They need 4. So far tonight, only 2 of 8 on 3rd down for the Cougars.
It's because they've been in so many 3rd and longs. They actually have a manageable one here.
3 to snap it. Just get it off. Toole looks. Rifles the pass, incomplete. It would have been a 1st down. Pass was intended for Barton. He threw it behind him.
A little behind him. Barton, on the other hand, got to try to use his hands to catch that ball. Tough ball for him to get to, I understand. But that's what you want your receivers to do. You want them to come up with that ball. He's a junior. He's got to be a leader for you.
Well, now the Cougars are going to have to kick it away again. Here. Devin Aguilar standing at his 30-yard line. Pressure's on. This a high, wobbly clip kick. Fair catch is called for at about the 25-yard line. Now, we've been at Pullman a couple of days now. One thing we have noticed in our travels here over the last few years, Paul Wolf agrees, this is a great college town.
It's the ultimate college campus. There is not a better college campus, we feel, in the country. The stadium sits literally in the middle of campus, and there's no one else that has that. The games are big events. Players are a big fish in a small pond. Everyone knows who you are. You go everywhere, you see Washington State logo. It's 100% support. Tailgaters and RVs come in on Thursday afternoons, and then they're till Sunday. It's a giant event.
And it is that right now. Polk got a giant gain. He breaks away. It is a foot race. 10-5 down at the 3-yard line. 72 yards for Chris Polk. Just like they answered at the start of the third quarter, they answer again.
Putting it on your offensive line. Look at the block and hook blocks. Block out. Everybody gets a hat on a hat. Let your big body break 1 or 2 tackles. He gets a very nice block in the second level by Jermaine Kearse, and he's running. Take another look at it here.
Well, you had Buchanan, the true freshman, miss the tackle, and Justin keeps it from getting a touchdown. End zone, touchdown, no problem. Jesse Collier, but we do have a flag. Boy, you think about Locker to Kearse, 66 yards, and then the big run there by Polk.
Offense, 2 men in the backfield. 2-yard penalty, replay, first down.
7 penalties for the Huskies tonight. And the big one was Jake Locker's 77-yard touchdown run brought back.
That's 2 touchdowns brought back on penalty right now.
He gets the play from Steve Sarkisian. Final minute and 19 seconds of the third. In the Apple Cup, Washington wins. They go to a bowl. Kevin Smith in motion. And we have another whistle and another penalty flag, and I think it's too much time.
Dead ball, delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Josh Coates is crazy.
You've had 2 touchdowns brought back on penalties. You've had a red zone interception.
Yeah.
So here they are in the red zone again, and had 2 more penalties right here on this drive in the red zone.
In the red zone, they're number 1 in the Pac-10, tied for number 3 in the country. They're 1 for 2 tonight, but they're being pushed backwards. First and goal now from the 13-yard line. Polk stacked up at the 15-yard line. They'll give him forward progress down to about the 14. Alex Hoffman-Ellis, he's got 5 tackles this evening.
Bernard Wolfram, Anthony Lorenzi, the tackles. They get themselves in the gaps and allow the linebackers and ends to make tackles. Their name is not going to be called. They're not going to make tackles. They're going to determine where it goes. Strong job by them on that play.
And second and goal now from the 14-yard line. 44 seconds left in the third. Locker goes to put it up. Goodwin puts down his head, gets down to the 1-yard line. Nice job by DeAndre Goodwin.
Well-designed play, understood what coverage they were most likely to see. Get it out on the perimeter, use some speed.
Missed tackle again, though.
Missed tackle again.
And now it's third down and goal from the 1. Polk at the eye. He's got it. Stuffed at the line of scrimmage. He is not going to get in. Travis Long did something that you probably could not see. He went underneath the pile and started stacking things up.
When you are on the goal line, when you're in short yardage situations, it's about leverage. The low man wins. And right there, every Washington State player was the low man.
1 quarter left for the seniors on this football field tonight, and the Huskies lead by 7 heading to the 4th. Huskies facing 4th down, just over a yard to go, and they're going for it. Locker will go from the shotgun. Ball is on the ground. And the Huskies have got it. Kevin Coleman. What a turn of events.
Fly sweep, mishandled. A lot of momentum coming through there, mishandled. That Jake Locker does the sin of not simply falling on the ball. He rolls over it with his body instead of protecting the ball. Picked up by Coleman, and off he goes. There you go. That mesh on the fly sweep.
Yeah.
Tough.
With Collier. Last week on 4th down and goal from the 1, they went for it against Cal and they scored. This time they fumble it. And the Cougars with good field position. Toole spins away from the pressure, looks for a block, takes a hit at the 48-yard line. But that'll be about a 2-yard gain, and Mason Foster in on it again. And we've got a Husky down, and it looks like 98.
Samisi Tokoloahi.
Tokolahi.
There you go.
What a turn of events, though, as we look at Samisi out of Hilo, Hawaii. I'm not sure if that was Locker's fault or if that was Collier's fault.
Yeah, I don't know. I know this. When the ball hits the turf, though, and Locker's scrambling for it, we always had a drill about when the ball's going away, you put your body over it and you stop it. And he just couldn't get that done. Now, I'm not saying it's his fault at all. You take a look here at this mesh point. It appears that Locker wanted to pull it back.
Yeah.
And I think that it just hit him too hard and that ball popped out. And then, of course, he doesn't jump on it. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you're Washington State 4th down. You don't have to jump on it. Just try to grab it.
Interception and a fumble. 2 turnovers for the Huskies tonight. They'll tend to the injury, and we will take a break. Be back in a moment.
My wife wanted tools for Christmas. You know what? Keith here knows a lot about tools.
Hi, Keith.
So I should let you shop. I'll be in appliances.
This is going to be easy. We have a lot of great gifts, like this Cobalt 4-piece player set. It's under $10, and it's made with anti-slip ergonomic handles.
Thanks, Keith. He's going to love them.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, you got to wait till Christmas.
Experience.
They brought out the card for Samisi Tokolahi, and they're going to put him on that and take him off the football field. 21-14, Washington leading Washington State early on here in quarter number 4. Big plays, though, by the Cougar defense as Washington was threatening at the end of the second quarter. The first one, Locker throws this one up for grabs, and it is intercepted. And then, of course, most recently, the fumble. Coleman with a big return.
When you're talking rivalry games and big plays and things you remember, you know, if you lose this game, you're going to remember the missed tackles. You're going to remember the fumbles. You win this game, you're going to remember those plays where we intercept the ball. It's when you're in any game, you can't shoot yourself in the foot in the red zone. If you're in a rivalry game, you certainly can't do it. The emotions are too high.
Well, I'm sure Kevin Coyman making sure everybody in Maple Valley, Washington, Tahoma High School, and his mom, although we said hi to him, and we'll hope to get an update and find out how Samisi's doing.
They've put looks like they've put a brace and or air cast on that leg, so we certainly hope that he's all right. He was holding that left leg way down low.
Bert Dennison coming over to pat him on the head. Mason Foster. Samisi getting the start tonight, born in Tonga. was a backup. This is his third straight start tonight. And he's just a sophomore, 6'2", 297 pounds. Good sportsmanship even by the Husky or the Cougar fans. A round of applause. 2nd down and 8 as we get back to the game. Ball's on the 49-yard line for the Cougars. Once again, just when you think that they were starting to load it, and we have a stoppage of play. Offensive line of Washington State's done a nice job tonight. They've only given up 1 sack. Toole has done a great job with showing his running ability. Plenty of time on the play clock. Toole looks right, throws right. Carstetter complete inside the 45-yard line. They'll mark it down at the 43.5.
The story of the second half for Washington State is managing 1st and 2nd down and winning those downs to get to manageable 3rd down. That's why they're able to move the ball a little better.
Well, it's 3rd down and short. Now they only need 2. This is a big 3rd down. Both sidelines, you don't see a whole lot of people sitting on the bench. Everybody is up. Blackledge in motion on 3rd and 2. Toole caught. Carstetter will be short of the 1st down.
Desmond Trufant came up and a great job of wrapping up and stopping that from becoming a 1st down. And he didn't give up anything. You take a look at Trufant. He recognized right away. Look at him drop off, sees it right away, and he comes up, levels it, puts the level in, and makes sure that ball does not get to a 1st down.
Well, the Carstetter, they're getting a very lenient spot.
That's the best spot I think I might have ever seen. And the Washington State fans certainly like it.
Well, they're giving him the 1st down. He looked like he was at least a half a yard short on that. Now, with Steve Sarkisian, he challenged this because he can. It is under review.
To me, it looked like he was a yard short. Not a half yard.
Because I was going to say, Carstetter's a junior. He's played a lot of football. He looked like he pulled up short on the 1st down marker.
Yeah. I wouldn't have given him anywhere near the 1st down mark on this one. So, interesting what the officials saw and where he was.
And they're going to look at it upstairs. The officials on the headsets now. Jeff Toole and company just have to wait. But I think what we saw in the original play and the first replay, he was short. He didn't have possession over the 1st down, I don't think.
No, I would agree with you. I don't think he was anywhere near it. And I think it's a smart move to replay this and take a look. Too much is on the line at this point.
Absolutely. It goes back to what Steve Sarkisian said. We saw the great plays you mentioned about Trufant. He said because of Trufant and Richardson, that's the reason why their defense is playing better, and that's plays like that. We just saw it. Now we'll look at it one more time.
Well, you're going to look, and you can see he's got to get over the 39 to even get to the 1st down. And he doesn't even get to the 38.
No.
He's at that 38. He's a full yard short. Excuse me, I'm sorry, to the 42-yard line. So he's got to get to that 41.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even get to the 42.
No, it was definitely short on that. The officials, once again, you're seeing the same replays that you see.
You know that I don't do backwards math. That was my issue there. Negative math. You know, we talk about all academic teams. I was 1st team all academic starting right tackle on my team.
There you go, on your team. There you go. Yeah. Well, usually what happens, the protocol for officials, if you have a question, the far side official is supposed to look at the near side official on the other side of the field where it was away from, and they're supposed to line everything up. And that's the protocol you use, and that's the motion that the officials go through. But it was pretty obvious, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, you and I have said this before, though. What we think's obvious We're not the official. We don't have the exact protocol. You take a look here. He catches that ball behind the 42, between the 42 and 3, and he's out just short of the 42-yard line, I think.
And the official was about 3-4 yards back of that play.
And I think we're going to be looking at a 4th down and 1.5.
Well, it looked like the near side official spotted it. The far side officials was off the play. Now, they may have already decided that he didn't get it. What they may be deciding right now is exactly where the ball should be.
Right.
So don't think that they're probably getting confused on this. Let's listen in.
To make sure they know where to go.
After review, the ball will be placed at the 42.5-yard line, where it will be 3rd down. 3rd down at the 42.5-yard line.
They're wrong. It should be 4th down.
To 13:44.
Well, the official's wrong. It's 4th down. And Steve Sarkisian, he wants to know, this isn't Colorado, Missouri, the 5th down play a few years ago, folks. You know, it is 4th down.
And the official now wants to go over and talk to the replay official and say, what down is it?
And there is a little confusion on the field. I love the player holding the 3rd down marker. No, that's an official. My bad. That was Ratliff. Now they're going to have to figure out what.
It will be 4th down.
There you go.
At the 42.5-yard line. 4th down, 42.5-yard line.
Well, we knew it was short, and as I said, I didn't think he got even close to the 42-yard line.
I don't think so either. So now it's 4th down, and if you're the Cougars, you're going to go for it.
Apple Cup rivalry.
Why not?
Midfield, might as well.
LeBron Mitz is checked into the backfield. Number 34.
Hey, I put that sombrero on my O-line. I got Zach Williams. He's a pretty big guy at center. Get a combo block. 2nd level. We can get 1.5 yards.
That's what they need. On 4th down, Toole's going to put it up. Now he's going to run for it. And he's not going to get it. He will be at least another yard short. They tried a little chicanery there, and it wasn't going to work. Great job by the Washington defense. And Toole's slow to get up.
Victor Ayewa was coming on the rush outside and did a great job of coming back under to stop Toole. You're going to watch him here on the far right, top of your screen. Watch him come. He comes upfield. There's the block by the back. Now look at him come back up and under and wraps up. That's a great job by him.
And Paul Wolf's reaction to that play. Didn't like it. Now Jake Locker and company go back to work. Here's Polk. He breaks through into the secondary. Again, it's a foot race. 10, 5, touchdown Huskies. 57 yards.
Well, you put it on your line. You're pulling your big guy around. You put on the line, you pull that left guard, Ryan Toller, all the way around. He gets color on color. That means your right tackle, right guard have got to the 2nd level. It splits wide open, and he's running right down that tunnel. He's got nobody around him.
And the extra point is good. So the Cougars get a fumble, look like they were marching. They turn it over on downs.
Well, Chris Polk, this is the guy that's getting it done. North-south runner, following his blocks. One cut. He's off to the races. Washington
28-14. College football on Versus is presented by Windows 7 and by Yamaha. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And by Lowe's. For all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Well, happy holidays on behalf of all of us here at Versus. Glad you're with us today. And Mr. Polk, 220 yards rushing. That is a career high Coming into this game, his previous career high was 138 versus UCLA, but he's got the long touchdown runs of 72 and 57, as Washington has 5 plays plus 30 yards tonight. Let's see if the Cougars can answer. Up to the 30-yard line. Let's check in with Kevin Frazier for an update. Kevin.
Ron, Foster's game break. We check in on the Big 12 championship, and Oklahoma down 17 battles all the way back to tie it. Nebraska just added a field goal. 2017 in a heck of a game, just like the one going on in Pullman.
Absolutely. What a battle. What a fitting way for Nebraska to say goodbye to the Big 12. The great battles dating back to the Big 8 with Bob Devaney and Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer, and Coach Osborne, and now they're meeting in the final Big 12 championship game. Seems fitting. Well, see Jeff Toole. He's got 13 minutes and 10 seconds to make up 14 points. Here comes the pressure, and he's going down. At the 23-yard line, Fort Dennison, the second sack of the night for this Husky defense.
It's a game of emotion, and you come off of an emotional score, you bring pressure. One man's picked up, one man's not. Fort Dennison comes free. Watch, we'll get a big cut right there on Ayewa. Fort Dennison free, and he makes Toole pay. Right now, Washington playing with all the emotion because of what they've been able to overcome.
Loss of 6 on the play. Toole trying to set up a screen, and he does. Into the secondary. First down, Cougars up over the 40. James Montgomery, Court Dennison brings him down. Lewis.
Well, Ron, Jeff Toole is absolutely dealing with some pain. When he came off the field a few moments ago, he was doubled over, holding his left wrist. Took him a couple of minutes to try and deal with that. He already has some taping on the left forearm, but he is absolutely in pain, but somehow dealing with it, trying to move the team here in the fourth quarter.
Well, you and I spent some time with him on Thursday and Friday. He broke his helmet in the Oregon State game a couple of weeks ago. He said he was dinged up in days. He said he told the coaches, I am not coming out of this game. Montgomery, he gets over the 40, down to about the 37-yard line.
Little adjustments here by Washington State. Screen pass to the perimeter, run to the perimeter, try to spread out these linebackers, get them running side to side, see if they can't attack a softer area.
He picked up 19 on that play. Montgomery didn't play in the Cal game because of a concussion. Wasn't even sure he'd ever play football again. A compartment syndrome on his leg last year after the SMU game. Very serious condition. But he is back, he's playing, and he just picked up a bundle. Montgomery this time maybe gets 3 on the play. Fort Dennison, he's got 9 tackles tonight. And that operation he had to go through left this scar on his leg. And it was very early in the morning. All of a sudden, his leg got real big, and they took him to the hospital. And pretty much doctor said you would have waited any longer, it would have been very serious.
Scary story. But you took him triumphant in his return. He's able to come back and play. They said he's looked as fresh as ever this week. Maybe the best he's looked since that injury.
He's been an inspiration to a lot of people here in Pullman. On second down, Toole, a quick look-in pass down to the 31-yard line. Mason Foster holding on for dear life, but Isaiah Barton kept on to the football.
Mason Foster trying hard to rip that ball out. A lot of times what will happen, though, you'll try so hard on that, you'll end up letting go of the tackle. Mason Foster, great coverage, rips hard with one. He's just so strong he can hold on with one arm. There's going to be some guys he can't do that to.
Everybody east of the Mississippi, please write down Mason Foster's name. This guy does not get the credit he deserves. He is an outstanding linebacker, and he's a senior. He'll be playing on Sundays.
He'll be one of those guys on Sundays you'll say, where did he play?
That's exactly right. Miss. Inside the 25, down to the 24. First down, Cougars.
Well, give a little credit. Washington State's line wants to do a little zone blocking as well. You see one good cut, missing the backside. That gets him up. One missed tackle gets him another yard or two. Front side of that offensive line, Fullington, Jacobson, Williams. Good job of pushing the pile to the left, allowing that backside cut.
And the Cougars aren't giving in. trailing 28-14. Vincent Montgomery now in the backfield. Montgomery, nope, Tool fakes it, throws, caught inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line, Tarstetter.
A lot of fight in these Cougars.
Big time fight.
You fake the run, you come up with the high skinny post. Tarstetter top. Skinny post, look, gets up there, turns, finds that ball in the air already when he makes that cut. Trufant can't close on it fast enough. They got themselves a big game. And now some fans have decided to throw some snowballs down at the wide receivers.
3 plays of 19 yards on this drive for the Cougars. Now it's first down and goal from the 5. Tool, quick look in, no, incomplete. Thought he had it, it was intended for Blackledge. Nate Feldner on the coverage.
Well, they go back to the well. Double slant, top of the screen, Tool's gonna throw. Feldner with good coverage. Fans don't like it. They see it. They think it's interference. Tool upset he didn't get that one in there.
Of course, Nate Feldner, the grandson of Jim Sweeney, a former Washington State and Fresno State head coach. And the high school friend of Jeff Tool. High school coach says the two were inseparable in high school. Second down and goal from the 5. Montgomery banging his way close to the goal line. They mark it down at about the 1-yard line. Third and goal, inside of 9 minutes to play.
They do quick huddle, look at this. They want to push the pace.
Tool keeps it. Touchdown, Washington State. They weren't going to allow Washington to get lined up defensively, Glenn.
No, Jeff Tool saw what he wanted and decided to get up there and snap that ball. My question is, did his knee hit the ground before he got in?
10 plays, 70 yards, 424. Fernie with the extra point.
Of course, it won't matter at this point whether his knee touched the ground.
And we have penalty flags all over the place. Flags were coming from every side of the field after that extra point. And the officiating crew is going to have to sort things out. Bottom line is 8:46 to play in the ball game. The Huskies' lead has been trimmed back to 7, 28-21.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 40 in the defense. That penalty will be enforced on the kicker.
What an emotional roller coaster this game has been. Mason Foster, guy who's come up with some big plays, big leader on defense, just inexcusable.
Senior shouldn't do that. No, Senior shouldn't do that.
That's right.
Let's go back to the touchdown again, and we look at Mason Foster.
My question on the touchdown, to Tool, when he trips, take a look at his right leg. Does it go down? It appears that he stretches over beforehand.
Yeah.
I was surprised no one really wanted to check that one out.
He used every bit of his 6'3" frame to put the ball over the goal line. And Paul Wolf trying to win back-to-back games for the first time for Washington State since 2007. They have not won 2 straight Pac-10 games since 2006, and that was Oregon and UCLA. And, of course, Washington. Their bowl hopes ride on the final 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Well, I know Washington's bringing out their hands team, it looks like. They're very aware of the possibility of an onside kick at this point with a little less than 9 minutes to go. But I know if I'm Washington, too, I get this ball, I'm going right back to the well. I'm running power, Chris Polk, north and south.
Yep. A lot of time left in this football game. We have seen so many ebbs and flows and turns. It's like a Dickens novel tonight, the best of times and the worst of times for these teams. Grassu set to kick it away. The crowd back into it. One man is deep. Everybody is up close. within the 45 and the 35-yard line.
Well, now what you can do here is you can look for a directional kick like Pooch and get it to bounce and hope someone can get to it.
He's going with it deep. Boy, did he nail it. Hit the goalpost. Ball is dead. It'll come out to the 20. Well, a big part of that last drive was James Montgomery. We told you the problems he went through last year, and he talked to us earlier about returning to this field.
I'm nervous. I don't know what to expect, like where my speed's gonna be or how I'm gonna see the holes and everything. But it felt like I was 8 years old again, pretty much. It was like a new feeling, and I was thankful for it. It was exciting. It was everything I could have expected except for the fumble on the first play. So,
Penalty flag was thrown. A pesky fumble on the first play, and James is playing in his final game in a Cougar uniform.
False start. Offense, number 91.
10 penalties now against the Huskies.
Daniel Kancigowski. He's number 91. He's a backup guard. That's twice on him tonight. He's jumped. Twice he's gotten in there because he's so far out.
Yeah.
He's used to being a guard, and he's a tight end now. Hard for him to hear the snap down.
He actually has two jerseys, 63 and 91. On 1st and 15, three-step drop blocker. The quick look at clock. Up over the 20 to the 23-yard line. Here's Lewis.
Ron, I got to tell you, it's been my observation that these Washington State fans have really hung in here with their Cougars today, despite the 2-9 record, despite the 20-degree temperatures. Now, there have been some moments over on that far sideline where the players looked a bit unsure. The coach is trying to work them through that. But I'm going to tell you, these Cougar fans have not sat down the entire game. Many of them with no shirts on, jumping up and down, supporting, hoping for some Apple Cup magic.
Now, they're popsicles now. That's 2nd down and 8. Not a whole lot on the run game, but it will set up 3rd down and about 4. Bernard Wolfgram has done a nice job on that defensive line. Would you ever consider taking off your shirt when it's 20 degrees?
I don't like taking off my shirt in the privacy of my own home.
Haven't figured that out. Oh, you. 3rd down. They need about 4 to go. They're calling it about 5. Locker, straight drop, pass. Tipped incomplete off the hands of Goodwin. A little too high. Air Justin was on the coverage. 7:30 to play in the ball game. The Cougars will get it back.
Brought a little pressure, front side. That makes Locker throw just a little high when that ball floats. Right off the fingertips. Andre Goodwin not able to get to it.
Big plays have been the story tonight. This punt takes a high bounce. No return after a kick of 47 yards. The 103rd edition of the Apple Cup comes down to the final 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Kevin Frazier here, and coming up on the Craftsman post-game show, I will be joined as always by Rowan Williams and Jeremy Bloom, and we will have scores and highlights. Plus, we'll hand out our stocking stuffers. And let me just tell you, Ron, not everybody's getting a gift. Some folks will get coal in their stockings. That's coming up after the game.
You know, Kevin, it's so cold here, I would take coal right now and light it. Washington in the second half, 195 of their 234 yards have come on just 3 plays. But now the Cougars have the football with 7:20 to play. And they try a little ground game, and they won't get a whole lot. Montgomery wrapped up by Alameda Ta'amu.
Right now, the zone read by Washington State is really just dressing. He's not keeping that ball. He's handed off no matter what the defense does. They're going to need to have a quarterback keep or a naked to keep this defense honest in the last 7 minutes.
And Nate Fellner is down for Washington. And they're going to try to help him up quickly. Now let's take a look at our Buffalo Wild Wings game reset board tonight. 28-21 is our score. You see what Jake Locker has done. They've turned it over 2 times. Interception and a fumble. Polk, career high, 223 rushing. And for the Cougars, Toole, 199 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Daniel Blackledge, a big night tonight. Second down, he lost a yard, so it is at 11. Low snap again. Toole rolling, buying some time. Has Blackledge caught at the 45-yard line.
That's twice. Blackledge has made incredible receptions on the sideline with a ball thrown where only he could get it. They do use QB movement, get him rolling. Blackledge up and out. There is no way for Nate Williams to close enough ground to get to that ball. Well thrown. It's a good route, number one. He gains enough real estate to get back outside, and then well thrown by Toole where only his guy can get to it.
6 receptions tonight for Blackledge. That covered 32. Toole with the split backs again. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Toole tries to step up in the pocket, but he's going to go nowhere quickly. He will lose about 3 on the play. Nate Williams led the charge. Victor Iowa was also there. Deshaun Matthews had the first hit. Bunch of white jerseys.
A bunch of white jerseys and a good job of maintaining their gap responsibilities even in pass rush so that Toole can't step up, can't find a gap and take off running. They've done a very good job for most of the game of keeping him in check with his running.
Once again, the Huskies 5 minutes and 45 seconds away from possibly going to their first bowl game since the 2002 Sun Bowl. Second down and 13 for the Cougars. Toole looks left, locks on to Blackledge. He's got him again inside the 20.
Blackledge knows he's going to get hit. This ball is high, and he does a great job of coming down with it and maintaining possession. I'm surprised they didn't call a helmet to helmet. Because it did appear that the DB closing in went for the head, but you don't know that, obviously.
58 yards in his last 2 receptions for Blackledge. First and 10 from the 19. Mintz leans forward, may have gotten down to the 16.
Another thing to look at. Almost every snap in the second half has been low.
Yeah, exactly.
At what point does that become an issue? As pressure mounts and crowd is going crazy, watch that ball, watch where it goes. It's been lower and lower and lower every snap.
Zach Williams is the center. We saw it in practice on Thursday. We saw that on Friday's practice. Low snaps. Second down and 6. Pressure coming. Toole reads the throw. Caught. Touchdown. Cougars. Marquise Wilson. It took him. Oh, they're going to review it. 73 yards, took him 254, possibly 6 plays. If it stands, it'll be Toole's 3rd touchdown pass of the night. And Marquise Wilson's first touchdown reception again.
Well, here's a good look at it. We'll see the ball does bounce back to Toole. This ball is plenty high over. That's a touchdown in anybody's book.
Oh, yeah. Not sure the reason for the replay.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
An extra point away from tying this game up. Remember 2 years ago, they went into a couple of overtimes. And Washington lost to Washington State on a Nico Grassu field goal.
Well, here's the extra point. And as an Arizona fan, I can tell you, very important.
And not easy. Andrew Fernie, the true freshman. And he wraps it around the post. Red zone tonight, Washington State 4 for 4, all 4 touchdowns. Washington 1 of 3, a touchdown and 2 turnovers. We take you back. 4:30 to play in the 2002 Apple Cup. Washington trailed 20-10. Pickett to Arnold. Robinson picks off Matt Cagle to John Anderson. 27-yard field goal sends it to OT. Anderson hit 3 more field goals in overtime. Washington wins 29-26 in triple OT. Washington State will go on to beat UCLA the next week to go to the Rose Bowl, where they lost to the Oklahoma Sooners. Steve Sarkisian is just trying to get to a bowl tonight.
I think that the emotion in this game.
Well, Drew Bledsoe remembers this snowy night where his team won, the Bledsoe to Bobo combination. This is a driving kick from the goal line. Collier up over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown, and we got a Cougar down on the 15. Slow to get up. I think it's Mitz. Or check that, it's Wilson.
Well, I'll tell you, if I'm Washington, I got 420. That means I got 4-minute offense.
Yeah.
I have run the ball for 223 yards.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 41 of the return team. Penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
11 penalties now against Washington.
I'm going to run Chris Polk down your throat. That's what I'm going to try to do.
Let's go back to the touchdown one more time. The touchdown by the freshman Wilson.
Watch Court Dennison right here, number 31. Now, as we stop this, watch him right there. He's going to jump for this ball, but pull his hand out. He doesn't get his hand out. Now, maybe he thinks he can't get to it, but an odd response from a linebacker right there.
Ball is on the 11-yard line. Polk stood up at the 13. Anthony Lorenzi, Bernard Wolfgram, all coming up to make the stop. Lorenzi getting the start tonight. They say he's been making big plays all year.
So now the normal response for Washington when they've had a run stop is to come back with a stop route at the seam or on the hash. Let Jake Blocker step and throw and get 6 or 7. Let's see if that's where they come back. That's what they've done in the past.
Kirsch goes wide to the left. On 2nd and 7, a pump fake. Pulls it down, and he's going to run it. He's going to be corralled, and he'll have the first down up to about the 24-yard line. C.J. Mizell on the stop.
I tell you, Jake Blocker, you know, exactly what they do. They come out, they look for that. He realizes it's not there, and he goes. Now, you got him stopped short. He gets 5 yards after the attack, after the initial contact. You know what? He wants to go to a bowl game really, really bad.
I'd say so. And once again, he's playing with broken ribs. Coach has said he's learned how to play with them. Polk takes a hit, breaks tackles. Again, he gets into the secondary. Into Cougar territory, down to the 40. 36 yards on the run.
You run power, you pull your backside guard. Big 65, Ryan Toller. Good block. Now it's up to your big back. Break a tackle. There's 1, there's 2. Now he's running. And he's got some speed that people don't realize. And after contact, gets himself another 10 yards after the contact down the field. I'm running him at you every play. You haven't stopped him yet.
Absolutely. You say, Mr. Polk, you're going to be tired on Sunday. And they'll do it again. Getting a little help from one of the linemen from the behind. But Polk able to pick up good yardage inside of 2.5 minutes.
There's a weight coming down right now on the defensive linemen for Washington State. Casey Hamlet, Bernard Wolfgram, Anthony Lorenzi, Travis Long, and it's called the weight of expectation. You have got to step up and stop Chris Polk.
They need about another 10 to 15 yards to be in solid field goal position. On 2nd and 7. Stood up. at the line of scrimmage. Third down with 1:54 to go. Clock is running.
When your defensive linemen eat up the blocks, that allows linebackers to get scrape, get into gaps, fit, and make tackles.
The bowl season of Washington may end up on the next two plays. 3rd and 6. And a timeout, Washington State.
Timeout, Washington State. Their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, it's been a great year for us here on Versus. We appreciate everybody that has worked with us, especially the guys in the truck that spend long hours trying to make sure everything looks good. Our technical director, Jason Moon. Our lead audio, Fred. Really appreciate everything you've done.
How about the technical producer? Got to thank Kristen Jepson. That's very important. Steve Griswold, our technical manager.
Grizz.
Associate director Ernie Sparger. Associate producers Andre the Hawk Dawson and James Pritting. Director Mitch Riggin, the best in the business. And our producer, who makes sure that we always look good, Michael Molinari.
Our favorite Italian. 3rd down and 6. Thank you, folks, seriously. Locker tucks it, keeps it, looking for that first down marker. Looks to the 30. He is going to be short by about a foot. Nolan Washington, who was hurt earlier in the game, came up to make the stop. Let's see where the spot is.
And this is going to be a close one now. This designed. Yeah. Let Jake Locker do something. You see Cody Harbin there, Habin there. He throws him. It looks like he comes up just short. Yeah. This is a designed QB draw. Cody Habin throws. Up comes Locker. He's going to be about a half yard short of that mark.
Yeah. And they're just going to go for the field goal. Eric Fulp will spot the ball at about the 38-yard line. And a timeout is going to be called with 1:21 to play.
Washington, their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
It'll go over center. 4th down, less than a yard. Polk. He's got it. He breaks into the secondary inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. C.J. Mizell finally wrapping him up, and Mizell gets up limping.
Well, they go back to power. They're going to pull Ryan Toller. They're going to have their big fullback, Austin Sylvester. They're going to run power at you all day. And the Cougars have done a good job of stepping up occasionally and stopping it. But right now, Chris Polk, if he had 5 more minutes, he'd go over 300 yards.
He's got 265 now. Polk, 5 100-yard games this year. 10 for his career.
C.J. Mizell down. He made that tackle at the end, and it did look like he went down immediately after making the tackle. You could tell something was wrong.
He tried to limp off after the play, wasn't able to do it. And they're just going to keep him on the ground. But what a job Chris Polk has done tonight. 27 rushes, 265 in yards, 2 touchdowns. Well, our lead Jeans quality play of the game was the last play, a much-needed first down.
In big situations, big players come up big. Chris Polk's been big for you all night. You give him the 4th down, the game on the line, the Apple Cup on the line, and he gets it for you.
Well, now they're saying Chris Polk's got 280 yards, just crushing his career high, which was 138 coming into the game. You know, and the coaches were all telling us, both coaching staff, being a heavy runner. We've seen it tonight. And that's Steve Sarkisian, 1:14 to work with. Clock is running. Needs points to go to a bowl. Polk. Close to the 10. They'll put him down at about the 11. Penalty flag is thrown.
Ryan Toller, the center, very aggressive. He's in there. People are fighting. It looked like Sakopi Kafusi got thrown to the ground late. I believe it was Ryan Toller. We'll take a look.
Personal foul, number 65 in the offense.
It is.
Penalty will be enforced from the end of the play. Will be 2nd down.
12 penalties now on the Huskies tonight.
And you'll see it right at the end of the plays. Your left guard, he gets up on Kaufusi, and he's getting the block. Now, as we see, he's going to keep pushing and pushing, and he gives a last shove. Now, was it that bad? Maybe a little of the soccer player coming out in Kaufusi. Smart play, though. The whistle's blown, you get a push, don't swing back, fall down, you get the call.
And again, it was a senior. Steve Sarkisian waving his hands furiously on the near side. 56 to play. Second down and 21. Three-step. Locker pumps, throws, looking for Kurse. He's got it! Touchdown, Washington!
You run the go route. And I'll tell you, Jake Locker with the perfect throw. Jermaine Kurse gets himself up and makes the play. But I'll tell you, couldn't have been thrown any better. Couldn't have asked any more of your receiver.
The only pass of that drive was the touchdown. And the extra point is good. We talked about what a rough year has been for Jake Locker, but this is as good as it gets, my friends.
Well, he's got protection, he's got time, and he just lets it go. Now, Kurse, as you see right at the end of that play, came infield a little bit. That got him real estate to jump back to make that grab. And, of course, when you look at that play, you see Dolan Washington completely turned around, doesn't even know the ball's in the air. No one is screaming ball. No one's telling him the play is to be made.
Nolan Washington, a redshirt freshman, and he wasn't sure where he was, but watch the reaction of Jake Locker. Much talk about how he gave up the NFL, did not decide to go last year and stay one more year at Washington and play for the Huskies. He told Steve Sarkisian matter-of-factly, said he just doesn't want to, he goes, college football's once in a lifetime. He decided to come back. And he's hooked up with Kurse, who's got 178 yards tonight on 6 receptions, almost 30 yards a catch tonight. But we still have 44 seconds left, and the way this has gone, and it's not over yet.
Not even close. With Jeff Toole, with Daniel Blackledge, Marquise Wilson, there's weapons.
35-28. Looks for a couple of blocks. Penalty flag comes in as he gets over the 20-yard line. And that'll push the Cougars even farther away from Painter.
Let's go, D!
During the return, illegal block in the back above the waist, number 83 of the return team. Penalty will be enforced on the spot of the foul. First down.
I've got one more little credit. I want to congratulate my daughter Joanna, graduating from nursing school today at the University of Texas. Sweetheart, I'm very, very proud of you. Your mom and I are, both our daughters. But Joanna, you're out of school. Now get a job.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm going to add to the Love Fest. Ron, Sam, I want to thank you guys for bringing me under your wing this year. And let me join you. I've enjoyed it.
It has been our pleasure, my friend. First and 10 with 36 seconds left. Toole's going to have to put it up. He goes in the deep flat. It's caught by Carster. No, incomplete. They say it hit the ground. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Ron, I've got to add in my thanks to the entire crew as well and to you guys upstairs. It's been fun to listen and watch, be a part of a great team throughout this season. It's been a blast. A cold finish, but a blast.
We're going to have to put the heat on high.
Thank you, Lewis.
Absolutely.
Thank you much.
Well, they're going to review that. Paul Wolf wants to make sure it hit the ground. It was very, very close. So now they'll have to run down the far end of the field. And
well, the official was right there. It was sitting in front of this call. So let's take a look.
I think he got it.
I don't know. It's tough. I'd like to. Might have to slow it down. And here's another look, and probably a better one. I think he caught it. I think you're right. They're going to give him this one.
Yes, they will.
And now they're going to have to find out, because he after he caught it, he got over the first down marker, but because it was being waved off and the whistle blown, at what point do you stop it where he caught it, or do you stop him after the first down mark? They're going to have to, that'll be their next discussion. And here's another look.
So you can't tell from that angle, really.
No, but he does a great job of getting it.
Yeah. Oh, Paul didn't like it, obviously.
And he had a right not to like it.
Yeah, I don't think he did either. Also, offensive coordinator Todd Sturdy, he was right there too, saying no, no, no. Steve Sarkisian's team, though, 29 seconds. This is probably the longest 29 seconds of his life.
I'll tell you, Todd Sturdy's done a good job as well.
Yes, he has.
As a coordinator, putting Jeff Toole and putting these receivers in a position to make plays and get themselves down the field.
And we're still waiting to get the official word. They're still looking at it. Washington State fans, I don't think anybody's left this stadium. There's Todd Sturdy there, offensive coordinator. These people have, they love this Apple Cup. Paul Wolf trying to win another one. His team has come back from so much tonight. As Washington has put up 544 yards. His team 388. But they've never given up.
No, and his team has forced turnovers and forced fumbles and made plays. And it's not always about how many yards you have. A lot of times it's about making the plays and making the other team make mistakes. And that they've done.
And we wait. Well, they're finally going to let the young men play. I worked so hard to get to this point. Toole steps up, throws, first down. Carstetter, and the clock will stop at 20.
They're signaling for him to come up and down the ball instead of calling timeout.
2 timeouts left for the Cougars. And the clock runs. And he will spike it with 16. Jeff Toole trying to get his team just to regroup. Plenty of time left. He's probably telling his guys, we can do this.
With 2 timeouts, I can go down the middle of the field twice more.
Yep.
And then I can take my shot to the end zone and hope for the best.
And 16 left.
Now, they've been very successful with Blackledge on out routes. Let's see what they do.
Toole looks right, getting pressure from behind. Penalty flag goes down. Jamora with the sack. And it'll probably be pushed back even further. Well, it is a hold.
Holding, offense, number 77. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
Yeah, that'll bring up 3rd down with 10 seconds left.
Well, left tackle gets his feet crossed up, grabs a little of that jersey. Not sure. They see a little jersey pull, but in reality, he was so far behind him, he was pushing with that point and had a grab. But it all started because his feet were bad. He stepped under himself, that turned him, therefore he's behind, and now he gives up the sack.
Well, it's been a heck of a night tonight for Chris Polk. 284 yards rushing, a couple of touchdowns, 29 carries. But the thing about Polk, not only did he bang you, he gashed you for big plays.
Yeah, they started going to the perimeter with him where he was able to.
California, he's always around the football, number 40. Leads the Pac-10 in total tackles. Back in 09, again this year, he's number 2 in the NCAA in tackles per game at 12.45. I'll tell you what, this guy, you don't hear his name when the awards are being handed out, but this young man's a football player.
Well, playing on the West Coast and playing late, a lot of people back east might not know who he is. I'll tell you, every coach in the Pac-10 knows who this guy is. Every coach that we've talked with says that guy is not getting the love he deserves around the country.
But when you talk to opposing coaches, even when we talk to Stanford's coaches and talking to Washington State coaches, first thing they say is we've got to find out where this guy is all the time. Hey! Now, they didn't put any time back on the clock. It says 3. This will be the final play of the game. Washington and Steve Sarkisian may be going to a bowl game. On 4th down, Toole steps up. Lets it fly down the middle of the field in double coverage, and that's going to be it. Picked off by Nate Fellner, his high school friend, and Steve Sarkisian. And the Washington Huskies are 6-6 on the year, and they will be going bowling this year.
Great rivalry game, played the right way. A lot of emotion. Guys are hitting and smacking around, and each guy wanted it. It came down to the end. Hard to ask for a lot more than that.
No, they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and everybody played extremely hard. Well-fought football game. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. And Lewis is standing by with a winning coach.
All right, thanks a lot, Ron. Well, back in 2008, you'd inherited a team that was 0-12. You got them to 5-7, and now in 2010, you're bowl eligible. Just talk about this moment.
Well, I'm just so proud of our seniors, you know. They've been through so much stuff, you know, on the field, off the field, and their resiliency to do what they did even this season at 3-6 and to finish the way we have. I'm so proud of them.
Take me back to that big touchdown that got you the lead when Locker threw that ball to Curse. What a moment that was.
Oh, it was pretty special, you know. It was a couple of our best playmakers, and we've been riding Chris Polk pretty good.
Right.
So we knew we'd get single coverage, and the two guys made a great play.
And in this run, what did it mean for Jake Locker to, you know, give up that opportunity to go to the NFL and come back and help you through this season?
Well, this is why he came back, was to do this, so it was pretty special.
Sark, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ron?
All right, Lewis, Jake Locker and the coach telling us the senior class, he says they've been resilient. They've been a catalyst for the coaching staff. They've been the ones that have been supporting the coaching staff's message. We've seen that tonight. And once again, we go back not only to the bowl, but this has effects larger than just a bowl game for the Huskies.
Oh, absolutely it does. It's recruiting. It's you know, you go to a bowl game, that gives you young guys the extra time to practice. That creates an atmosphere then of expectation of next year, and you're farther along. It's much bigger than just a bowl. It's resurgence of a program, one that was dominant in the Pac-10 for many, many years.
Well, Jake Locker getting some hugs and kisses from family members, and rightly so. His third start as a quarterback in the Apple Cup. He's 2-1. And more importantly, he gets to go to a bowl for the first time in his collegiate career. Last one was in 2002. Now it looks like it'll be the Holiday Bowl.
A much anticipated reward for them. Go down to San Diego, and the Husky faithful travel well along the West Coast.
Well, Jeff Toole did his part tonight. He did about as much as he possibly could without getting the win. 25 of 35, 298 yards, 3 touchdown passes, where they come up on the short end of the stick, 35-28. And Lewis has Jake Locker right now. Lewis.
Jake, last winter you gave up the opportunity to go to the NFL, potentially millions of dollars. Was this what you came back for?
Exactly what I came back for.
What's the night been like for you?
It's a lot of emotion, a lot of ups and downs. I'm just, you know, happy we came out on top. Our guys kept fighting like they've done the last 3 weeks and all season, and couldn't be more proud of this group. I wouldn't want to play with anybody else in the country. I love these guys.
As you enjoy the celebration here and you think about what's ahead of you, you've got the bowl game and then the rest of your future. How do you want to be remembered as a Husky?
I went out and played hard all the time.
All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
I think that's exactly the way he's going to be remembered, my friends. A kid that played hard, he played with injury, showed a lot of guts last week versus Cal. So Washington wins 3 in a row to send them to a bowl. They take care of the arch rival Washington State Cougars tonight. Once again, our final score, Washington wins at 35-28. Outstanding football game played here in the Palouse. For Glenn Parker, Lewis Johnson, and our entire Versus crew in Pullman, Washington, I'm Rob Thulin. Thanks so much for watching. Now we send it to our Craftsman postgame show.
What a game, and welcome to the Craftsman post-game show. Kevin Frazier, Jeremy Bloom. I skipped over you, Roland Williams, but you're there. But what a great and fantastic Apple Cup. A great way to cap off the season. Your thoughts, Jeremy?
Well, I think first and foremost, great effort by Washington State, playing for their head coach maybe job. But for Washington, it was the Chris Polk show. I mean, he took over the game, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, really won that game for him.
You know, congratulations to the Huskies. They haven't been to a bowl game since 2002. Congratulations. You guys deserve it. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, and Washington most likely headed to the Holiday Bowl down in San Diego. So for them, Good result. They finished the season as a bowl-eligible team, and I think that's what they really wanted to do. All right, now let's get into the mix. Some of the highlights from some of the great games today, and we start with number 2, leading number 1, Auburn, South Carolina, the SEC championship game. Cam Newton is the daddy.
Man, this guy was spectacular. Here he is after a score by South Carolina to close out the first half. Cam Newton, spectacular all game long. He showed why he is the best player in college football.
Absolutely. Give him the Heisman. Cam Newton on this 1-yard run. He becomes the second player in NCAA history to pass and rush for 20 touchdowns in one single season. And Mama loving it in the stands.
And a man can pass for 20 touchdowns, run for 20 touchdowns. Man, I'll buy his cookies. Anything the guy has to sell, I'm buying it. The Cam Newton mania is for real. He deserves to get carried off in grandiose fashion.
56-17, the largest margin of victory in the SEC championship game ever. A career-high 335 yards passing for Cam Newton. Next stop, New York, to go pick up a little hardware for Mr. Newton. So what about number 2? The Oregon Ducks taking on Oregon State in the Civil War. And boy, this offense just keeps going and going and going.
I was so impressed with Oregon overcoming the early obstacles of Oregon State, showing you there Mr. Thomas being spectacular with the pass, and you see Barner there with the rush touchdown.
And Ryan Katz intercepted. They just couldn't really get anything going, Oregon State, in this game, and Oregon was always on top, one step ahead of the Oregon State all day.
And don't forget about LaMichael James, one of your favorite guys for the Heisman. After Cam Newton, they just overall just did their thing.
Yeah, they did. And Oregon finishes its first unbeaten, untied season ever. They also have a school record 12 wins. And next stop, Glendale, Arizona on January the 10th, the national championship game against Auburn. And I think that's where we have to begin the discussion, Ro. Auburn, Oregon.
Well, I think that both teams made a statement in this football game to let you know it's the reason why they're 1-2. Auburn, I'm impressed with what they've done all season long. Their body of work, outstanding. I think they actually have a strong defense. That's what's going to be a problem for Oregon. But Oregon, you got to give credit where credit's due. That fast-paced offense is really impressive, and I just loved it. I've enjoyed this college football season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game, and who isn't going to? I mean, the over-under might be 100 points in this game. Cam Newton, Dyer, so much offensive firepower for both teams, and then Oregon with LaMichael James and Darren Thomas and Jeffrey Mail and all those playmakers. It's going to be exciting.
Who wins the game?
Auburn.
Auburn, right. You're smart.
Don't forget, Auburn won a championship in 1957. They finished unbeaten in 2004, but out of the championship mix. But Oregon, you know, they have all those uniforms. I can't wait to see what Nike comes up with for Oregon to win in the championship, to wear in the championship game. Meanwhile, what a great night of football up in Pullman, Washington. There's a party there if you're wearing purple. The Washington Huskies knock off Washington State 35-28. Uh-oh, here come the snowballs. Get out of there now.
You're watching the Craftsman postgame show on Versus. Brought to you by Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
ACC championship game, Florida State taking on Virginia Tech, and you always got to watch out for that Virginia Tech D.
You know, E.J. Manuel's a backup quarterback in place of Christian Ponder. He has a little elbow stiffness, and you see it cost him. V-Tech capitalized on a new guy getting in the game.
Ty Jones getting into the action and into the end zone. 6-yard touchdown run, 17-21.
You know, Virginia Tech has been a team that's been known for the rushing attack into the second half. They gave him a nice dosage of it. You remember that kind of medicine that you don't really want all the time? They gave him that, but they showed you, air game works too. You see Tyrod Taylor to David Wilson. You can't go for the over-top uppercut after you get in a jab. You know that old boxing thing?
Amazing to think that this is a Virginia Tech team that started the season 0-2 after losing to Boise State and then James Madison. And now it looks like they're going to represent the ACC in a BCS game. Let's move on. Connecticut and South Florida.
Speaking of home games.
And Connecticut controlling their own destiny. They beat South Florida. They're in as the Big East representative in the BCS. It looks like they're headed that way early on.
Well, the fourth UConn INT return for a touchdown this season. They get it done because they capitalize on other people's mistakes.
But watch out. I mean, South Florida, you look at, they beat Miami. Really cost Randy Shannon his job for the Hurricanes. So they're putting up a fight against the powerful Big East Conference.
I just want to say UConn's average computer ranking coming into this game, 51st in the nation. I think there's some people in Boise, Reno, East Lansing, some other places that have something to say. Let's keep moving. The Big 12 championship game, the last time these two will meet as conference foes, Nebraska and Oklahoma.
You know, you see Mr. Burkhead pass to Kyler Reed. Always good to get the tight end going. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska gets off to a quick start, 17-0, but Landry Jones finds Kenny Still 49-yard touchdown pass. Oklahoma on the board.
You know, Oklahoma was trying to compete and win this game. You see Taylor Martinez showing you a little moving, a little mobility, and then he does something that never works. Throw it back against your shoulder cross. Come on, you know that doesn't work. Interception, Travis Lewis touchback. Come on, man.
One costly turnover to